All right, all right, all right. Back again. Back again. So, do we believe in giving people a second chance in life, even when they committed criminal acts? Does it matter what act of crime was committed? Are you more cautious when it comes to your children? Or what about even when you're dating? Are you cautious as far as that? Well, tonight, March 25th, we will be hosting another cocktail conversations. Myself, David Lorenzo Glover, aka the controversial counselor, and Herb Lewis, the big bad wolf. Here is a snapshot of the scenario, but I'm not. The snapshot is really a snapshot, is really the whole scenario. So here's the scenario we're looking at. Free Willie. Your 12-year-old son is one of the top seventh grade basketball players in the city. Coach Willie has taken him under his wings as a positive role model. You found out that Coach has been arrested and served time for drug possession on numerous occasions. Do you continue to allow your son to continue this relationship with Coach Willie? So that's something to think about. Something, and I get got a lot of mixed reviews as far as that with in the feedback that people have said. But before we go into that, don't forget to like and share this video, and please subscribe to my YouTube channel, The Controversial Counselor. Come on, we need those subscriptions. Need you to like and share. It's not that difficult, people. It's not that difficult. So please do so, especially the regulars that's on here. Like and share. Like and share. Obviously, you like it. You come on week to week, so please like and share it. So that's that. We're going to get into that. Just other housekeeping things. Almost the end of the first week with my sixth graders in there. Man, this stuff is so weird to me. And like I said, I know other districts have started back soon, but I never thought I would have a year where I had 3 first days of school. One with the autistic students, and then with the cohorts, cohort A, cohort B. That's 2 additional ones. And I have 2 more first day of schools. So that's a total of 5. Damn, this can't be life. I just like the first day with everybody together, get it over with, get that first week over with. But it seems like this is never ended. Good evening, Latoya. Peace to Dietrich Muhammad. So that's what's been cooking on my plate, on my stove, just trying to get through this new world that we're in as far as education. And I don't know. I think they got a little sample size going right now, and I think they experimenting, and it may be some 4-hour weeks and 10-hour days and some stuff like that they're trying to experiment with. But that's for another subject. Even though this has a lot to do with teaching and education, this particular scenario, we're going to dive deeper into it. Herb, man, I know you do the mentoring thing, and I know that you work with youth, and I know sometimes everybody needs a second chance, but when do you draw the line to say, I don't want this individual around my precious baby, even though they call themselves rehabbing themselves and they're ready to give back because they may have been someone that was an excellent athlete in high school and may even play some college ball, and they're ready to teach the youth the craft. So how do you decipher like when you shouldn't give somebody a chance, or when you say, oh, this person deserves a second chance?
When I read this, it kind of hit home, because I know a lot of brothers who've come up this way. They've done some time, whether it be for drug possession, weapons possession, or anything that can really happen in the inner city. So I always I never really want to condemn somebody, if I can use that word, without actually, the obvious connotation that it has. I don't want to condemn somebody, even though they've fallen afoul of the law. Because let's face it, I mean, as much as I like to say, I'm a I've overcome my circumstances. The reason why I was able to overcome my circumstances is because I had a lot of assistance through the community, and everybody doesn't always benefit from the community the same way. Some people have to learn a lesson the hard way, and unfortunately, a lot of convicted felons learn that lesson the hard way, and that unfortunately kind of alienates them from the rest of society. So it really doesn't allow them to be ingratiated back into society. And I think if there's any way that a convicted felon can ingratiate themselves into society, I believe they should be afforded the opportunity at least to try. Now, to the question that you're asking, when do you draw that line? I think that's going to be up to the individual parent. And given the trajectory of single parent homes, I don't know if it's necessarily such a bad idea, provided that the parent is comfortable with the individual that's doing the coaching. If that individual is allowed a hands-on with in this case, their son. Now, for me, really, it doesn't matter, because if I were to have a son, there, in terms of sports, there's nothing I don't think I could teach my son, with the exception of maybe how to throw a curveball, a forkball, or things of that nature. For those who don't understand what throwing a curve or a forkball means, those are pitches from baseball. But aside from that, maybe the only thing I wouldn't be able to teach my son is how to ice skate well. I can ice skate, but I can't ice skate nearly as well as what you see professional hockey players and figure skaters do. So with that, as long as they're where I can monitor the interaction, I wouldn't have a problem personally. But I also would be an active parent. And, with the program that we run, we see parents all the time. They'll come, drop their kids off. They won't even come in to meet us, and they're gone. So they're almost using us as glorified babysitters. Like, I can't wait to drop him off at practice. I get him out of my hair for a couple hours. I get to go relax. I get to go do whatever. And I think that's unfortunate, because it sets the kids up to potentially be exploited by somebody who has less than upstanding intentions. And that's not to say that felons do that. That's for anybody across the board, whether they're a felon or not. I always believe that any parent, male, female, whatever the case is, should go in and meet the staff, sit down and talk to the staff, judge the vibe that you get, ask what their background is, ask them if they've been to jail, ask them if they're willing to sit down and explain why. And more importantly, ask them what it is that they learn. Because so often, the lessons that they learn, nobody else has learned, because they haven't had to go through the path that they have. And they may be able to impart some wisdom from firsthand experience into that child to say, look, you may not like this. You may not like the way you're coached. You may not like the way that your mother, your father disciplines you, but trust me, it's for your own good. You don't see it now, but when you come out on the other side of 1920, when you go to college, or when you start to work, or when you start to get involved with the opposite gender, and you potentially have kids, and you have to start your own lineage and raise your own kids, you'll say, you know what? Now I understood why my parents did this and that. I understood why they didn't allow me to do this until I got to this point in my life. So there's a lot of moving parts in this, that I don't think there's a one answer fits all situation. But those things that I mentioned, I would certainly advise that any parent go meet the staff. If you don't know, ask questions. And like I said, if they're willing to sit down and speak to you and tell you about what it is that they went to jail for, I don't see a problem, so long as, like I said, so long as you're willing to put in the work and monitor what is being taught.
And that's true, and it's crazy, because I posted this scenario in other groups. One of my go-to groups that I've been going to lately, and oh boy, this is just stupid. This is Like, are you trying to take a dig at felons and stuff like that? And they were so tied up on the word felons. And some person, somebody, a couple people made some good points. They said, well, that could be the same thing with teachers or whatever the case, because one of my talking points was, of course, and I'll get into that in a few minutes, but well, I'm going to say this talking point now, like the boundaries with the parents, single parents, and stuff like that. So they felt like, well, that can happen with anybody. No shit, Sherlock. But what you have to understand, certain scenarios, you plug certain profiles in there, and you just deal with what's given to you. Don't try to make it fit your narrative. So if a felon is in there, then you think about all the things that come with that. If it's a teacher, you think about everything that comes with that. Well, more than likely, if a teacher, if they had a felon, they're not, because of the background check on that. But when you come to youth sports, now it may have changed. I could say this, that at first, when I used to coach youth sports, it was just like, who can volunteer on the application? Are you willing to volunteer? If you signed your child up, are you willing to volunteer? And you say, yeah, and then you reach out, oh, I'll come to the coaches meeting and stuff like that. But then within the last couple of years, they started doing little background checks to see if you were okay. Because other than that, before that, it was just like I said, just anybody could volunteer. So that subjects and open up a lot of, hey, you just never know who the hell is out there coaching your child. And I've seen some coaches that lose their temper and they get ready to fight other coaches or parents. And I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. Then you got the kids, they sitting there looking like, and you talk about 7, 8, 9-year-old kids, like, dang, they fighting. And I'm like, why is this person still in the league? Why is it? But each year he comes back, year after year, because you don't have too many people that's willing to volunteer. And he happens to be someone who knew basketball, but many times it may be a team, they sign up and no one knows anything about basketball at all. So then that's when you go to, and I'm going to take a shot at you ladies, because y'all think that you can watch YouTube videos and all of that stuff and you can coach a team. You watch a YouTube video and you play against my team, we gonna run your ass out the gym. Just don't hustle, period. So it's not that easy, whatever. And the kids, they're impressionable. They see things. If you're teaching them, trying to teach them drills, and you're a volunteer and you never played before and you can't dribble, they're gonna be sitting around in the line snickering. Hey, Coach K dribble. Coach K dribble, laughing. You already lost respect. Then when the shooting drills, you can't make a layup and you're going off the wrong foot or whatever the case is, it's not going to work. I always say the best coaches are teachers and people who played the game. And they often, like even in sports, sometimes they get upset with people who have communication degrees. They automatically feel that they should have those jobs like Charles Barkley and all former athletes have, because they went to Syracuse University, one of the elite schools for communication, but they never played the game. They can't get the inside interviews like these guys have and all that stuff. So it's a lot to it. Latoya said, LOL, kids notice when you're not being 100%. Let me read Gwendolyn's comment. I was an active team grandma. I was there for every game practice, and my brother was a coach. As long as the crime isn't involving children or murder, and you get to know the coaches. And that's a good point. Get to know them, talk to them, introduce yourself. Like, hey, this is my grandson, Daquan, or David, Herbert, and I'm active. And then they'll know, like, you're a force that you're going to be around. So that's just some of the things. I got some pros and cons too as well that I want to speak to. We got somebody in the studio. Girly girl, what's good?
Hey,
How you doing?
I'm good in yourself.
I'm
And
good.
let me jump in here real quick, Dave, before you get going with your pros and cons. One thing we have to keep in mind that when we hear the term felon, felon doesn't necessarily describe the type of crime committed. Okay, felon is assessed to anyone who has done more than 2 years in incarceration. That's what a felon is. I know the stigma of felon is usually associated for black men. White collar crimes are also considered felony crimes. So just bear that in mind. And two, the story. It's funny. I just circle back to the story. Uh, I think about 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago, maybe five actually. We had a young girls team just started out. None of them have ever. Well, actually, I won't say none of them. I think there was two girls who had actually played basketball before. We had about 11, maybe 12 out there. So for the vast majority of the girls that we had on the team, none of them played basketball, hadn't been athletic. And in Niagara Falls, the summers are hot. I'm speaking 90 plus degrees for weeks on end, no rain. Now, where we were practicing at, there's very little shade, asphalt court, which even is hotter. The one thing we had to make sure that the players were doing was drink plenty of water because they had been unaccustomed to drinking water. And the last thing we wanted was one of the players to pass out from heat stroke. And heat stroke is a very serious thing in sports, particularly when you're playing outside. And more importantly, when you have people that aren't accustomed to physical exertion in that type of heat. So I had called practice one day. I said, you know what? I said, it's too hot. We're not going to allow the girls to practice. And one of the mothers was upset, called the CEO and was saying, why did y'all cancel practice for the girls, but not for the boys? And the one thing he called me he said, Herb, a parent wants to talk to you. I was like, we got him what? She said, practice is being canceled. I got on the phone. I said, all right, let's have a conversation. She said, why did y'all cancel practice? I said, man, because it's too hot. She said, but y'all didn't cancel practice for the boys. I said, you are correct. She said, why? I said, because the boys understand the importance of being hydrated. They're also in better physical shape. And they understand when they are tired, when to sit down and when to tell us when they need a break. Now, being that the girls that we were coaching, we didn't know if they were actually tired from being out of shape or they were actually legitimately tired. So when we pushed them, we wanted to make sure that we were pushing them to develop their stamina, and not because they were actually we wanted to push them to develop their stamina. So we wanted to make sure that when we were pushing them, we weren't putting them in danger. And that's what I explained to her. I said, when you send your child to us, you entrust your child to our judgment and safety. I said, if something happens to that child and that child dies, who are you going to hold responsible? She said, we're going to hold you responsible. That's why we cancel practice. Now, Rebecca, you said that's bullshit. Give me your synopsis on physical exertion in terms of sports and that type of weather.
Well, in Texas, UIL guides everything. So they have certain rules that everybody has to follow, male and female, in regards to working out in the heat.
No, no, no,
In
no,
the
no.
summer, in this,
I said your experience. I know what guidelines are.
and
We don't
well,
have
we
guidelines.
follow the guidelines. So my experience is what every other parent's experience is. Practice. They can't wear helmets. At a certain time of the year, they can't wear pads. So really, all they're going to be doing is conditioning. Where Earl was playing little league and all of that, I mean, the coaches followed the UIL rules, even though they didn't have to, but it made good sense because the guidelines were there. But the parents, especially the moms, shit, we would just line up in a row with oranges, water, and every time a kid came to the sideline, we'd hose them, the fuck down, and the cheerleaders would be right there, and whatever they got, whatever the boys got, the girls got. But a good coach, I would think would know the signs and symptoms of a kid being tired versus heat stroke or dehydration. So you should be able to tell if if a male or a female is dehydrated, is moving into heat stroke, or if she's just tired because she's out of shape. And that's why I said that's bullshit to say that the boys understand and the girls don't. Well, that's poor coaching, because you should make sure that the girls understand the difference between dehydration and heat stroke for straight out, especially if you're practicing in 90-degree heat on tar. I would just think that that would be one of the first things that you would teach your athlete, is about their body and what to expect when you're pushing yourself beyond what you consider your normal limitations. So to me, that's just, that would be bad coaching, because why wouldn't you want your kids? I'm just saying, if I'm teaching you something, I would think I would start with the basics first before we lift a weight, we start stretching, before we start doing anything. I'm going to teach you about the rules and the regs, what my expectations are from you as an athlete, you as a parent, how you need to bring your child prepared to practice, that they should be
you know what?
breakfast.
You mentioned something that these kids did not have. Actually, you mentioned a few things. One is an active parent.
But they have an active coach, and part of coaching is very
And
dynamic.
how much time per day do you think I get to spend with these girls?
It doesn't matter while they're
It does.
stretching.
It does.
No, it
You
does
don't
not.
think it
Because
does. It does.
while kids are stretching and being quiet, while they're stretching, while you're warming them up, that you can use that as a teaching moment. You're going to feel this, you're going to feel that. Make sure you drink. Girls, it's time to practice. Make sure you get some water in before you step out onto this pavement. There is always an opportunity to teach. Always.
Now, is that your lived experience as a coach, or is that just what you're saying?
That's my lived experience as a coach and as a parent, especially here in Texas, because our heat is totally different than what it is for y'all. We get emails, we get flyers, they get a packet. It's just commonplace. You know, when Earl ran track meets started at 6 a.m. and they weren't over until 9 o'clock at night. You were out there all day. And when I say parents came locked and loaded with meals, ice, tents,
But you're not understanding what I am telling you.
I am understanding what you're telling me. And what I'm telling you is just like being a counselor, a teacher, a coach. Why wouldn't you give your athletes the basic knowledge before they got out there? That's like not telling them, make sure you wear sneakers and shorts, and they come out there in blue jeans, you know, and sneakers. You need to prepare your athlete before they even partake in the sport.
Now, hold on. Let me interject. The one thing I do want to say, as far as that, when Rebecca, you said about coaching, and it has been some superior athletes in the NFL that have died through heat exhaustion and stuff like that, and it happens. But I do understand the point what you're saying, Rebecca, that the education before time, tell them ahead of time, maybe send an email, make sure she drinks lots of fluids and stuff like that. It's going to be 90 degrees, 95 degrees today. Make sure you do all the necessary things before practice and all that stuff. So that's a part of, that's why I said coaching is like teaching, dynamic. Whatever. Yeah. So it's a lot. It's more involved than what it is. They show up for practice. Nowadays, because we have these means of communication, you can send out all these group texts and things like that to parents. So let them know, like, this is what you're going to be faced with. Make sure they're prepared. They're going to cramp up if they don't do this and they don't do that. It's a lot.
You know, when Earl was running track, the head coach, actually, he sent all the parents that wanted to be involved. In order to touch a child in Texas, you have to be a level 1 coach. You have to be. So you got to go to school. You got to take the course. You got to get certified. You have to go through all of that. I can't remember what the training is called, but it's about, being appropriate, with the kids, whatever that training is called. And he used me in the capacity while the kids were out on the track doing whatever. I was walking up and down the stands, handing out flyers, talking to the parents, asking questions. Your child needs to be prepared before they come to practice. They need to eat breakfast. They need to eat lunch at school. And because they eat lunch at 11 o'clock in the morning, practice is at 5. They barely get a chance to eat dinner. Try giving them this, try giving them that while they're running. Parents would be up, just like you said, that one lady was lit because you cancel practice. That used to be me too. And a whole bunch of parents, because, we wanted to win. So we wanted our kids to practice. And at some point we had to think, I'm out here hot. So
let me interject something into what you're saying. That parent who was mad, guess how many practices she attended?
I don't know.
0.
Well, I never missed a practice.
But this is what I keep trying to explain to you. You keep interjecting your experiences into something that you haven't experienced.
My experience.
You're correct. But you're telling me that the story that I told you was bullshit.
It's bullshit because even if she never showed up,
if there is no
kid off, you should be talking to the child. Tell your mom this. Tell your dad that. When you come to practice, I need you to have this.
Let's put this out there. How do you handle a child that doesn't come prepared for practice, doesn't do what you tell them, and the parent doesn't reinforce what you tell them?
They sit their ass on the sideline and watch everybody else.
Or they don't, or they no longer a member of the team.
Yeah,
that's maybe the easiest way.
I don't have time for your bullshit. There are kids out here that really want to be coached, and so I'm going over there with them. You and your mad mother stand your ass over there, and when you're ready to listen, I'll have a conversation with you. And if you don't want to listen, here's your refund, and go find another team to work out with. Why would you put yourself in jeopardy as a coach to deal with a parent? Because unless she's 15 or 16 years old, it really should fall back to the parent to make sure that their child is prepared. Even when Earl was young, the coach put it on them. You got to have your spikes, and you got to have this, blah, blah, blah. I'm not throwing all of it on the parent, but as far as nutrition, especially for the young, that should be the parent. And if they don't want to listen to you, and this will be the only time that I will probably say this, that they should be listening to you. If they don't want to listen to you, then bye. Because I'm trying to deal with the kids that do want to learn and do want to listen.
That's part of the reason why that team was disbanded.
Yeah, well.
But that's also why I canceled practice.
As you should have. I would never argue that. You should have canceled practice. That was a great call. They've done it to us plenty of times and we didn't like it, but I wasn't the coach. So if the coach ain't gonna show up to practice, then neither am I. So I would never argue with you or any coach for calling practice, but for a specific child that doesn't want to listen and or parent, your ass would get the boot. I'll have one conversation with you and try to explain this to you. And if you still don't want to listen, then, you gotta go. So
that's why it's important to have contracts and documentation and stuff signed, and you're giving them that due process. So once they come, flip at the lip and you say, oh, you signed this, whatever. You're not abiding by that. I can't put other kids at risk. I'm not going to put myself at risk. So I don't think she belongs on this team. And unfortunately, we hate to do that to a kid, but that's a parent decision, whatever, for not following through. So there's ways that you don't put yourself out there.
That one, because I would totally support that shit. All you need is for one kid to fall out and your career's over. So yeah, I support that. We had contracts and all our kids had to be registered with the USATF, and they had their own set of guidelines for running track. We had to follow the national rules. So you couldn't be a felon. That wasn't happening. Everybody
that's because of the federal money that's involved. Well, wait a minute. Hold on. Let me correct that. Let me ask you a question before I actually say that. Your son ran for did he run for a school or ran for an organization?
Both. Summer track was for an organization. School was school.
Well, I know with school they're covered under certain federal statutes, and any of that money because it's federal money, they have to maintain a set circumstances of adherence,
Yes.
and a felon is definitely one.
Yes.
That much I do know. We're not governed by anything like that, which is why I was extra vigilant with that. Like I said, the boys understand that they need to be hydrated before they need to be hydrated 2 or 3 days before practice, and the girls wouldn't drink water. We couldn't get them to drink water at practice. When we're standing is telling them, you need to do this, because if you don't, A, you're not going to be able to practice, and B, you're going to start cramping up. Not now, but later.
Well,
2 or 3 days later.
And you said one key thing. You said one key thing, Herb. You said these were girls that really wasn't athletes, and it was just like their first experiences. So it seems like the parents probably said, "You're gonna get out here and do something." And I think the girls that's used to going through the grind, you almost have to treat them like boys, because they're just as competitive. They're just as competitive. And they understand. They're on. You're making that face, Rebecca. But
because when you just treat them like an athlete, why do you have to treat them like a boy? You should just treat them like an athlete.
Well, we look at boys and girls, whatever. And
well, let's not do that, because they're just athletes.
But they are boys and girls.
They are, boys, but we're talking about athletes. And if you're a female and let's say you're a soccer player and you've been playing soccer since you were 6, and now you come to Herb and you want to play on his soccer team, she's an athlete first, female second. So you treat her like a seasoned athlete. She doesn't have to be treated like a boy.
The first thing I said was they have never played sports in their life, so they're not athletes.
Then education should have come first, whether they were girls or boys. I'm sure you've had boys that hadn't played any sports at all. And so did you treat them like girls?
Yes, we treated them as if they were first-time athletes.
That's some bullshit right there. And you got to know that that's a bullshit statement.
Why?
Because
why is that bullshit?
So you're saying anybody who's never played any sports should be treated like a girl, and anybody that has played sports
they should be handled with care.
Excuse me?
You get caught. They should be handled with care. You get caught up on the gender issue.
They shouldn't be treated like the opposite sex just because they participated or not participated. They should just be treated like a new athlete. They shouldn't be treated like a boy because they already know, or treated like
let me ask you this question.
They don't know.
Are you going to try and get a girl to bench press 250 pounds?
It all depends on what she's doing.
It's a yes or no question.
Maybe.
It's a yes or no question.
Maybe. Yeah.
It's a yes or no question.
Yes.
Well, we can look at the NCAA, how the boys' weight facility, their facilities was different from the girls' facilities,
which is a fucking travesty.
It could be, but what I meant.
No, it's not. It couldn't be. It's a travesty. That's a fact.
And see, this is why I love when people open their mouths and they don't know what the hell they're talking about.
I know what I'm talking about. So turn your head to the left or right and put that shit on him.
How many universities have you been to? How many universities have you been to where they have had a separate workout room for women and men?
Several.
They've had a separate weight room for women and men?
Yes.
Then that's a terrible university.
No, not really.
It is. Really. I'll tell you that now, because I went to Buff State.
They all can't practice at the same time, and they all can't be in the same room at the same time because it would be too overcrowded. You have a men's basketball team of 30 plus players and a female basketball team of 30 plus players.
A men's basketball team doesn't have that many players.
You need separate facilities. So I don't have a problem with separate facilities so long as they're all up to standard and they're treated equally. This bullshit statement that the both of y'all made about boys being treated like girls because they're
hold on. Yeah, and I'm not going to retract what I said. Okay. I'm not going to retract what I said. But what I said was basically, if it's a female athlete who never played before, and it's someone, and it's a girl that played, and the male coaches and whoever know, like, oh, she goes hard. He's gonna lean on her a little more tougher than someone that has not
But
played.
that don't mean you got to treat her like a boy.
Well, then I'm sorry, I used the word,
Yes,
the gender
be.
word, but I apologize for using that. But again, you said she's an athlete first. No, they're male and they're female first.
She's an athlete
then they're
first,
athletes second.
Who happens to
they're
be
athletes
female.
second.
And
just like when you're in school, you're a student first, then you're an athlete.
Girls to dribble
athlete
a ball
is second.
The exact same way you would treat a boy to dribble a ball. There is no difference. So she's an athlete
but
first.
As a coach, you gauge how you gauge different levels. Like, okay, this person, they're not at that level. So you might have a assistant coach say, okay, take these players down here because they can't dribble as well. You work with them.
And then you have treat a boy like a girl because he can't.
I didn't say about treating a boy like a girl.
You did.
I didn't say treat a boy like a girl.
You did. Yeah, both of y'all absolutely.
No, I didn't say that. He made that statement.
The answer to your question.
You co-signed that shit. Stop playing.
I didn't co-sign it. I didn't say nothing during that time.
I asked you specifically. So would you treat a girl like a boy? You're saying treat a girl like a boy because she's seasoned. You said yes. That's exactly what you said. So stop playing. Their sex shouldn't have anything to do with that. You treat an athlete, a seasoned athlete, like a seasoned athlete, and you treat a novice athlete like a novice athlete. It doesn't make a difference whether they're a boy or a girl. And treating an unseasoned male athlete like a girl or a seasoned female athlete like a boy is a bunch of bullshit.
I've been around the game. And I can tell you right now, even at my middle school, they have the boys practice, they have the girls practice. They don't go as hard with the girls. They don't go hard.
That's being sexist. Because that's being sexist. That's why. That's why me and Brolic, he's here now. So that's all about to be shut down.
we can make this real simple and clear up any nonsense that's going on. How many of you on the panel, outside of myself and David, have played sports?
Excuse me? I'm number one in Western New York for running track.
Basketball,
volleyball, racquetball. You name it. I'm very athletic. You should call me Serena Williams Jr.
Okay. And the other two? And the other two?
I ran track actually. And let me tell you something. My coach did not give a shit what gender you were. You better meet his expectations. And there was no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Thank you.
Okay. Now, the point that I'm getting at is this. When did you get to that level of proficiency in your sport?
That ain't what the
my first year running track.
Okay.
I'm sorry, somebody.
Within my first year of running track, and our track coach was so fucked up with it that he had us running against the weight team on the boys team at actual track meets because he pushed us just that hard. He made us run against boys.
So the very first time you stepped on the track, you were at the level.
I said within my first year of running track.
But that's my point. When I said the story, I said these were girls who had never played.
I don't have an issue with that, Herb. I have no issue with that statement. The problem I have is that you said the boys understood. And my comment was,
do you know why they understood?
It's poor coaching if you don't educate your brand new athletes first. Then you said, well, it was really
but do you know why the boys understood?
Right. And what girls can't
I'm pretty sure that you're going to say that they understood because they played sports before. But as she said, one of the first things you should have taught them is about proper nutrition, proper hydration. Before they start doing anything, they need to learn the basics.
Not listen.
I did listen. Stop saying that shit.
I said they, meaning the players.
Okay, then that means maybe you're affected. You know what? Then you have to take responsibility for that. You have to take responsibility.
How do I take responsibility?
I'm gonna tell you why you got. I'm gonna share with you why you should take responsibility because you are the leader.
How does
a good leader? I promise you, a very good leader will definitely have followers. A very good leader will make people be willing to do what they ask them to do. So I'm gonna say that responsibility.
Players don't want to let you down.
Take
responsibility for that one, because this is one thing I'll say.
We know that's not true.
So very much true. So this is the one thing I want to share.
You know why
as I've been listening. As I've been listening, you started off with the fact that these young ladies they did not have, they weren't athletic. Understandable. Guess what? All boys are not always athletic off the jump either. And also the exertion part of it. That young men can take the exertion more than young women. That's not true.
Said that.
Thank you.
Yes, you did in the beginning. You did share that. If I understood correctly, yes, you did, sir.
You didn't.
And all I'm striving to say is this.
If you understood correctly, I said the reason why.
I understood very correctly. I think you have to understand
the things that you say.
You have to stop just spewing things out of your mouth as if you're not remembering. I think you need to start taking your own notes. And when you watch this over again, you'll see. You said that you spewed that
correctly.
Oh, don't make a big one now.
Don't try to take your words out. Don't try to turn your words around.
Thank you.
And I'm not coming for you. I'm not just coming for you. I'm also coming for Mr. David over there as well, Mr. Glover.
Oh, no.
Let me just say this too. They
don't
are
get
now.
me. You know I want all the smoke.
And it's about to come. So the thing I want to share with you is this. When you said if a woman watches watch YouTube to coach a team, your team is going to run circles around them or whatever. No, women are very. Let me tell you one thing. One thing we have shown society to a T. You get a black woman out there. You got a black woman run a home. We've been running homes forever. So we're gonna go out there and get on that team. We're gonna get that team round up. And we're gonna make sure that team is gonna go to a championship because that's what we do. That's what we do.
All I'm gonna say is bet that.
We got to get a team going. That's what we're gonna have to do.
Okay, bet that.
Okay, I'm sharing with you right now. I am well capable of what. Listen, I've taught myself how to.
You coach a team. I coach a team. Your ass is grass, and again, I'm the lawnmower. I'm telling you right now.
I take that
a lot of things.
Bet on it. Bet that. Y'all can put an Olympic team
it's
together.
On and popping. It's on and popping. Okay, Rebecca. And Brownie T, we're going to have to find a mutual city, state in the middle.
Oh, my. This going to be easy money. Easy money. And remember, the lights get bright. I'm going to tell my players, don't let up on their ass.
And I coach the team. Let me tell you, at the resource center, I coached the boys team. And guess what? My boys won. My boys beat the other team. So that's why I'm very well. I'm going to share some stuff about this woman.
Who's the coach of the other team?
And a little bit of everything. And
who's the coach of the other team?
I don't know who he was. I don't know.
There you go. There you go. There you go.
I played basketball. My team won.
David,
so I don't care. I'm just letting you know.
I want to know why you think you're a better coach than anybody.
Exactly.
I didn't say I was a better coach than anybody, but when you learn from the best and you're part of that system, and when you bleed sports all day long, it becomes an educational process. It's
what
no
did you
way.
Coach?
Huh?
What did you coach?
I coach youth sports. I coach my son.
No, what sport?
Basketball.
Oh, so we're only talking basketball then, right?
It don't matter which we talk that I'm gonna win. I'm gonna win. It can sound sexist as it want to be.
Whether it sounds sexist, it sounds arrogant, but it doesn't sound.
Yeah, okay. Arrogance is also confidence. It's also confidence.
Do you, my nigga? If you think you can be,
first of all, I ain't never gonna be your nigga. That's gonna be the first thing.
If you think you,
I ain't gonna never be your nigga. I ain't gonna never be your nigga.
If you think you can be
another track
coach and you ain't never coached a track team, have at it. Come to Texas. We'd love to see your ass down
I got the baddest girl team that will rock any boys team. Okay, my daughter's team just went to the championship. Wait a minute. Did anybody else's team go to the championship?
You don't know anybody else's team go to the
I'm not on no bullshit. I'm not on no bullshit. Y'all honed in on one point that I said. The one point I said, and y'all running with it.
Well,
y'all running with it.
Said it.
I can say what I'm gonna say. What I feel.
Okay, then we gonna say what the fuck we feel like.
Yeah, and it don't mean you're right.
Okay, it don't mean you right either.
Okay. Then I said bet that. Bet
It's
that.
on
When
the
the lights
topic.
is bright,
My
bet
nigga,
it.
bring it
Bet
bring
it.
it
on the
to
topic.
I
Texas.
told you the last time,
like,
ain't gonna never be
bring
your
it to the
nigga.
bring it
Ain't
to
gonna never be
Texas.
your nigga.
And
Ain't gonna
Wait a
never
minute.
be your
whatever
nigga.
I
Ain't gonna
said,
never
Wait a
be
minute.
nobody's
Hold on.
nigga.
Hold up for a
somebody in
second.
their feelings.
Wait a minute. Why does it have to be in Texas?
Come to Texas.
A track is 400 meters no matter where you go.
So then he can come to Texas and run on this 400 meters.
But why can't y'all come to New York?
Fucking for what?
Why not?
Oh, now it got to be home court advantage.
A track is 400
Come to the
meters.
big city of dreams. Come to the big state.
What's the big?
I
What are
recall.
you
I'm
talking
saying
about?
find
Hold on,
somewhere in
Rebecca.
between.
I said in between.
Right?
Hold on.
I recall hearing them say find somewhere in between to do this.
I
So
said
you don't have to be in New York or Texas.
Specifically
find
Rebecca.
out the middle, find out the halfway point in between both and get it cracking.
Because what I was just going to say is when they host the Olympics, the athletes don't get to choose where they play at.
Right. Whoever got all the facilities that they need
under USTF rules or something, because
a track is 400 meters.
I know this.
If you're that good and you're that confident, lace them up and run anywhere. On gravel, on dirt, on sand, it don't matter. Get it in.
What the fuck are you talking about? What
Get it
what
in.
are you talking about? Shut
Get
up.
it in. Because when I ran high school track, we ran on the gravel surface.
I invited him to my town. So what are you talking about?
But why does it need to be in
Because
Texas?
I live here, fool. What do you mean?
Are you afraid to travel for competition?
I'm not afraid to travel for anything. I invited him.
So why not?
Here.
So why not say meet me anywhere?
Because I invited him here.
So not only do you want home court, quote unquote, or home track, you don't want to travel. That's the epitome of somebody that's scared to put up.
I'm not scared to put up and fuck.
Does not mean that.
I invited.
I'm just saying. I'm putting it out there because when with our AAU basketball team, we take them to travel. We put it on the wood. We play them wherever.
We're not doing an AAU meet. We're not doing a USATF meet. This is just me and him talking. I invited him to Texas, and you trying to put your little raggedy 2 cents in about why I won't travel. One of us is traveling, so I invited him here. He want to come here anyway, so shut up.
So why not do what Brolic T suggested, just meet at a neutral site?
Because I invited him.
That's what Lakia suggested. I say maybe she invited him and she gonna host.
But my point is this:
there is no
if your athletes
you don't have
are that good and they can play anywhere.
Then they can
the
play
guidelines don't. The guidelines don't matter if you run in the 400 meter race.
Listen.
That's between me and him. That ain't got shit to do with you.
Listen, this is so funny. This is so funny how
it's a whole something.
How one little point can lead to a whole argument like that. And all I simply said was, you're gonna treat the players different. You're gonna look at their levels and say, okay.
You said.
Well, that's pretty much what I said. If you want me to go into detail, if you wanted me to go into detail, I didn't go into details like
you
explaining.
said what you said. So
I said what I said, but I ain't going into detail. So if I'm allowed to explain myself, I'm gonna tell you. You can't stop. You can't go with the definition on the surface like, okay, that's what he meant. That's what he meant, and that's it. That's it. He said this, and that's what he meant. I know what I meant. That you're going to assess the situation. Some girls got experience. They've been going hard. They've been playing 6 or 7 years. So you say, hey, you can bring her up. She can come over and practice with us. She can because she may be better than some of the boys.
Absolutely.
Then you may have some girls that obviously, like, okay, they never even really dribble the ball or don't know how to do a layup, don't even know zone defenses. They don't know any of that different stuff. But you gotta actually teach them step by step.
I feel like you're just trying to clean it up now, but
no. I ain't trying to clean it up. No. I know what I meant.
I know what you said.
I know what you know now. You can't.
David,
you can't tell me.
So David, you going to Texas?
Huh?
Well, where's this going down? You want to go to Texas?
Come on and come to Texas. You have a place to stay and everything.
Listen,
don't do it. She might poison you.
You try to go to Texas?
Smile on your face. You know you want to come here. Shut up. You shut up too, because ain't nobody talking to you.
I'm just saying, man, she might put something in the water.
Maybe if you were coming, but not for him.
You gotta worry about that.
You're good. Don't worry. You never know what hits.
Listen, I love you ladies too, whatever. I love the spats. I love the smoke. And y'all definitely brought it tonight. And it ain't over with yet. Any old ways, like we said. And that's the beauty of it all, how you can take one point and we just go in on it. And there was some things that put out there that y'all may feel was said incorrectly or whatever the case is. And no one's trying to be a sexism, but you know that there's differential sometimes with sports. That's why they don't mix them together. And that's why it's those issues of when you have transgender people saying, oh, I want to play with this thing, because some people, I brought that up because that's a big issue now. That's a big issue.
Y'all need to move into the 21st century.
And this is going on. This is going on where
that doesn't make it right.
I'm just telling you what is going on. We don't govern those laws.
Only society sets the standards for male and female, and we choose to live by that. You can treat everybody the same.
Are you aware what's going on are you aware what's going on, oddly enough, in the state of Connecticut with transgender boys dominating girls' track?
No, but I would.
Stop right there. Stop right there. Stop right there.
No, I don't have to stop right there.
Because you're missing a key element.
I'm not. I heard exactly what you said.
I asked a question. I didn't say anything.
What you said. You asked
I asked a question. I didn't say anything.
Okay, well then stop telling me to stop. When you ask me the question,
because I want you to understand what it is that you're not.
I know where this is going.
And I already know what the issues are with transgenders choosing which side they're gonna be on. And I have been educated about the feeling that I had, because I didn't think it was fair. It doesn't seem right to me that a male who identifies with female plays on an all-female team. When in reality, if you just treat people like people and sports were co-ed, especially in school, then this would not be an issue. But again, because society has made stereotypes about men and women and us being the fairer sex, and y'all got more testosterone, so y'all are stronger, y'all should be the leaders. Everybody still follows that. And all I'm saying is you can treat a female athlete like an athlete and a male athlete like an athlete.
So let me say this, Rebecca, girly girl. I remember one time, what's her name? Herb, you might remember. I can't even think of her name. She was a female boxer. What's her name? Rousey. I think I got her first name. Yeah. And they were putting out this stuff. She could be Floyd Mayweather. She can do this and do that. And I'm like, are they freaking kidding me? And Floyd would have murderized her ass, but
absolutely,
they kept putting that out there and then putting that pressure on. And she was, as y'all say, sipping the Kool-Aid. And then I think one of her next fights, her ass got her clock clean by some woman.
Cyborg demoed her. I'm sorry, it wasn't Chris Cyborg. I can't remember the other. Holly Holmes demoed her.
But what does that have to do with anything?
It has a lot to do with it, because if people society saying, oh, because she's a girl and she's good, she can fight the best guy. And we got to hold up off on that, whatever, because
she might be able to fight him. She probably ain't gonna win.
She wasn't gonna even get close to winning.
She might not survive.
But it still doesn't matter about how you treat people. All I'm saying, we have.
We was talking about treating people with delicacy. We was talking about treating people with delicacy, like.
We want to put y'all in a box. And at the end of the day, we're still all just people. And in regards to sports, all I'm saying is what I said. You treat them like athletes. You don't treat inexperienced male athletes like girls, like y'all said.
No, I never said you treat them like girls.
I said it. And I'm going to stand by.
All right, well, you was on that bandwagon.
I was never on that bandwagon.
Yes, you was. Care, and that's an any situation. It's not even with just sports.
Whatever.
But one thing I did want to say is this. she may not have been able to beat him, but it does not mean there wasn't a woman out there that could beat him.
Where the woman at there? See, now you're basing on hopes and dreams. Now you're basing on hopes and dreams.
Nope. Let me share this with you. Do you remember? I used to live on 6th Street, up the street from the convention center here in Niagara Falls. And there used to be weightlifting contests. Y'all remember? I don't know if you guys ever seen that. There'd be bodybuilders, men and women. There were women, and as you mentioned earlier about bench pressing, there's women that can bench press 250 pounds. So I don't know why you keep trying to act like there aren't women in this world that is capable of bench pressing 250. I'm not talking to Herb on that one. So the fact of the matter, that's dead. There are women that can bench press more than a man. Do you even see those competitions? No, I'm not finished. Let me finish, please. And the other part is this: is that
because you're living in a dream world.
Oh, you are, because no, you are living in a world that's unrealistic. If I take 2 individuals, because that's true. That is very much true that there are women that can bench press more than some men. So you're going to tell me?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. There's no absolutes in there. There are some women. There are some women could beat a man in the street, in a fight.
That's true. I have done that. True. Yes, I.
But when you're talking about assessing athletes, whatever, people who's trained, who've done it, it's a little different.
But you know what? You can train a woman, and she may be able to knock his lights out too. If a woman's trained and she has the skill level, it does not mean just because a man has a skill level does not mean it's not attainable. It never means that anything is absolute. That a woman cannot obtain the ability to knock a man out, whoever the greatest of that is.
The ability is why that's next to impossible, because you're not going to find a woman 5'10", 210 pounds.
She doesn't
like
have
Mike
to be.
Tyson.
She doesn't have to be that.
But she can't generate the type of power that he can.
She could be 5'12". She can be
in the Philistine reference for somebody else buying that now.
Men are just so fucking superior to women.
That's what it is.
So there's just no possibility that a man could be defeated by a woman. Fuck y'all.
Listen.
I don't
even know how this argument
I've seen a woman
to that point.
You know how we got to where
so I know it can be done.
Girly girl.
Don't girly girl.
Oh, now the girly girl you now.
Y'all always want to be on some bullshit about men versus women instead of it just being people. Y'all always want to throw that bullshit in there about how men should be leading women and all this other raggedy bullshit. And
they think we got stupid written on our foreheads. Like, cut it. Like, we understand every word that come out of your mouth. Don't be condescending and think we don't understand that you have to try to break something down. Very intellectual women on this board, on this panel. Anytime we ever come on, we always speak truth and heat. So don't ever think in intellect. So don't ever.
All I'm going to say to that is 5'12".
If we don't understand every single word that comes up out of your mouth.
Rebecca, stop.
I'm gonna say 3.
Rebecca, stop.
Shut up.
You being mean right now.
No, I'm not being mean. If you want to be truthful about shit and keep it real, keep it real. But to say that that boys should be treated like girls or girls should be treated like boys is a bunch of bullshit. Listen. That's just all that other stuff he said about coaching. I thoroughly agree with that. You are the coach. You call practice.
Rebecca,
if
you know what the military
to,
standards are.
Want to listen, give them the boot. I agree with all of that 100%. But when you start saying that boys understand and girls do not, well, that's on you because you're the damn coach.
No, this is what I'm gonna say.
All about teaching somebody how to dribble a ball or run down the field. It is very dynamic, and you're supposed to teach them from A to Z. And if you decide to jump the fucking end and move on, that falls directly on your shoulders.
Girly girl, this is what I'm gonna say. When you talk about teaching, I understand that girls, if they're involved and they're engaged, they probably will pay more attention than boys will. That's for sure. Yeah. If you tell them something, they're probably going to get it. Going to get it. And when you think on the level of, okay, you have boys who never played and you have girls that never played. Girls probably will pick up on it quicker than boys because sometimes boys be all over the place, whatever.
Correct.
With their thoughts. So
they do.
Yeah. So I'm just saying, well, it's again, if we go to the absolutes, that there might be some boy that'd be a Poindexter to hear everything, but his skill level may not lead him to do that. But I know girls they'll probably be able to regurgitate everything you said.
I'm not one to base somebody's skill set on their gender. I've seen lazy male athletes and lazy female athletes on both ends of the spectrum, and they all get treated the same.
That's not even a thing. And I don't think, no, it's not the same. If you know somebody can't play at all, I'm not going to even if it's all males on a team and somebody never played, I'm going to be a little different with the guy that never played compared to a person that I know he's played. I might be a little harder on the one who's already played. Like, yo, dude, come on. Why you dogging it out? Why you doing this compared to someone who's never played? I'm trying to build up the kid who never played before. I'm trying to build him up, and I'm going to take time with him. And that's a from a teaching aspect. But the guy that I already know he's skilled, and if he's playing around, hot dogging around, like, dude, why are you playing around? Why are you doing this? So it's ways to go about that. And the whole thing with the felon coach and all that stuff, what I keep saying is sometimes the best coaches are teachers, educators, good educators, quality educators that know how to teach, that know how to differentiate, like, he's not at that level. I can't talk to him this way. I can't yell at him this way, but I can yell at him because I know he could take it, or whatever the case is. It's a whole slew of things. And I could tell you one example when I had coach. It's just a little quick. I ain't gonna be long-winded. I was coaching my son's team, and we were playing. We had a good team. But I understood with youth sports that I had to get everybody in. And I knew once I took out my we were loaded up front, our starting 5, starting 6, and then the rest of the players never played before. And other teams, they had like a balance. So when it was time to put the other players in, I would try to mix them all in. And it was one kid, I put the kid who never played before in, and he of course he ain't do nothing. Then you got the star players, they're like, yo, coach David, man, look at the lead. We about to lose. So then I pulled him out and I was like, yo, and he was like, Mr. Coach David, why you take me out? I just got out there. And I had to kind of downscale my emotions, and I had said to him, because you wasn't doing anything. And then he was like, I said, even if you can't shoot or anything, you got to be able to rebound. You can't go out there in fear. You got to play the game. And then I was like, we playing to win. Because I don't care about all that, kids need to have fun or whatever. These kids, when you're 11 and 12 years old, they know what winning is. And they know how it feels to lose. And I said, well, we trying to win. He's like, so what are you saying, Coach David? Because I'm out there, we're going to lose. Then my counseling mode had to kick in. And I said, damn, right quick. Even though in the emotions of the game, I said, I gotta phrase this right, because I don't want this dude to go tell his parents that, granted, this was volunteer and all that stuff. So really, I could have said, I don't give a fuck. But I said, no, I'm not trying to say that. But what I'm saying is you need to work on other areas of your game, whatever. Just because you may not shoot or can't catch the ball, whatever, you're going to have to, you have to be a little more active. Somewhere I cleaned it up, whatever, but it made me thought, like, I could have said, like, coaches get emotional. I could have said, dude, you suck. But I had to slow it down. So it's a lot. It's a lot of components to this. And what I do is I treat everybody as a human. I don't look at sex or whatever the case is, but I evaluate talent, and you know who the better players are. And if it was co-ed, I would know, because I've been around where it was girls on teams with boys, and the girl was the leading scorer.
That's what happened with me. So my daughter, who's now going to a D1 college, I was at a middle school modified basketball mixed team. It was 5th grade. It was my son, and it was girls and boys on his team. And there was a little girl named Amelia that was playing better than the boys. And I was pregnant with my daughter, and I said, wow, who is that little girl? I was so amazed at how talented she was on playing basketball, beating out the boys, scoring all the baskets, stealing the ball. And I said, what is her name? And they said her name was Amelia. I loved it. I said, if I'm having a girl, I'm naming her Amelia. Guess what? Now my daughter's a basketball player. All I'm saying, and she's going to a D1 college. How many young men from Niagara Falls can say they have a D1 scholarship to college?
Lakia, stop.
Let me finish. Oh,
Lakia,
excuse me.
Lakia,
Don't say stop. I know there's some that went to the NBA. I mean, went to NBA.
I understand
Lakia? To college.
I can name
but it's not
dozen.
But still, it's just the ratio is the reason. Listen, the reason, yes, there are. I said, how many? I get that. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that
there's been more boys than there have been girls.
But the reason
Equal
why
number of
they
players.
do not pour into the women, to the girls, like they do the boys. They do not.
They do.
They don't, sir. Stop. I live here. I had to put my daughter in a college, a high school outside of Niagara Falls for her to even have a chance, and an AAU team for her to even have a chance. Stop it. I'm here with these girls playing basketball. I'm here out here in Niagara Falls deep. And there are no programs that support young women to play AAU, to even create an AAU for them so that they can have the ability to be just as competitive for boys. That is not correct. Do not try to stand and correct me, because that's not. I'm in the streets with this in Niagara Falls.
How many girls in the city of Niagara Falls play basketball?
A lot, because my other daughter plays for Niagara Falls High School.
How many?
I can't give you all of them, but I promise you, there's probably a bunch of them that would like to do more, but there's not enough programs for them.
Okay, all right then, fair enough. Why don't you establish a team?
You know what? I've thought about that plenty of times.
Do it.
Let me say, no, listen. Let me share this with you. It's not far-fetched for me to do that.
I'm a results-driven person.
You ask me a question. Let me answer it. My answer to that is this: I'm a very busy woman. I work 2 jobs and I have children, and I take care. So after they graduate, like after they move out, maybe I will. Because I'm right now is focusing on my family and taking care of what I need to take care of for my family. And I'm on boards. I'm busy. My career right now is in a space
make calls to gauge interest in teaching girls how to play basketball?
Say it again.
So you mean to tell me that you can't make calls to gauge the interest of people willing to assist girls that want to play basketball?
I have made calls. I have talked to plenty of coaches and men that have been doing things in the city. I have conversations all of the time. I'm always striving to get someone to be motivated that has the ability and time and energy to put into it. I just can't commit to that right now. But it does not mean after I finish doing what I need to do. After I finish doing the things that I need to do for my family, maybe then I will be able to pour into something else. I'm not pouring into other children at the same time, but I can't commit to something like that. No, not right now.
I'm simply asking, why can't you get other people to do what you want done?
I have been talking to
you guys were just talking about leadership.
And I don't know what it is. To people about it. So you're right. You're absolutely right about that. But still it does not mean I'm not their leader. I'm just sharing what I can. I'm trying to find people that is available. You were their leader. That's the difference. I'm not their leader. You were that team's leader.
You guys are of the opinion that nobody pours into girls' sports like they do boys. If that is the case, then you should be able to pick up the phone, call a dozen females and say, hey, look, let's get a girls' team together, because they don't support girls' athletics like they do boys. And I'll even put a finer point on that. If that is the case, then why don't women attend WNBA games?
I don't like basketball.
I've gone to NBA games. I took my daughters to the NBA game, WNBA game.
But why are they so sparsely attended?
People aren't interested.
It was a packed house.
Why?
People aren't interested.
Why?
And y'all know what?
You'd have to ask them, but clearly there isn't as much interest in women's basketball as there is in men's basketball.
Listen, and you know what breaks my heart about this whole thing? Because Kobe was on that mission. Him and Gigi.
Heck yeah.
He was on that mission. He was on that mission to rise and put women on that platform, and he's not around to do that. Who's gonna pick up that slack? Because Gigi was about to take over the game.
Yeah.
Kobe's plan was that it was gonna be united. That women were gonna be playing in the NBA if it was up to him.
You know, and attendance really has nothing to do with it. The women's soccer team has been outperforming the men forever, and they still don't get paid as much. So people prefer
why?
men's athletics over women's athletics.
It's not so much that. It's the revenue that they generate.
It's absolutely that.
Okay.
Woo. that was a quick heat up.
Man, y'all just be on some bullshit sometimes, and ain't nobody here for that. Not tonight.
Okay, and I respect that. I'm not mad at you at all. I appreciate y'all feedback.
Yeah. And I was a level 1 coach, so I know.
Go ahead, Dave. When I interceded, you were going to give the pros and cons of felons being coaches.
I think we
felons. No, but in Texas, you can't do that shit in Texas. So it doesn't make a difference on any level. You can't do it because in Texas you have to be a teacher. You have to have passed the state boards if you want to coach in Texas in school. And out of school, if you're guided by the AAU or the USATF, you can't be a felon because you have to go through a background check. So pretty much the only way you're going to coach is if you have some offshoot team, and you ain't going to be able to compete with anybody because they all are governed by either the UIAL, the AAU, or the USATF. So you basically done for. You can't even volunteer in summer track if you're a felon.
And I think that's good when you have laws that govern that. But some of the pros and cons, I'm gonna go through these quickly. Pros, they could teach your youth life lessons. So you may have someone who been locked down. He was a star athlete. He came back trying to volunteer, give back to the community. He may be able to teach them life lessons. Listen, don't go down this road. I've been down this road that I got tangled up with my boys. I wanted extra money. I started hustling, started doing that, and I got myself in trouble. Don't do it. Stick to school or whatever. And maybe that heartfelt message could lead them to say, damn, Coach Willie, we're gonna listen to him. And it may be emotional, heartfelt message that motivates them. Motivating and teaching resiliency to the players, letting them know that no matter what outcomes or whatever you go through in life, that you can overcome it and end up, doing greater things. And also, many of them were high school and playground legends, total street cred. A lot of times, the young people talk about street cred. And when you have someone who has been on both ends of the spectrum, they're able to tell you that street cred, that life is not the life that you want to live. So sometimes it's a different voice than the parents or your teachers in school that can kind of hook somebody in. So those were some of the pros. The cons. Will they be able to give up their lifestyle from the past and when they hitting a bump in the road, will they go back to what they always know? That's what you have to be cautious of, because it's not easy. It's not like things are set up for them to be successful when they get out. So if your child is under the influence of that, and then stuff start leaking that, they back out in those streets, what is that going to do for your child when they was like, man, Coach Willie could really play. He could really do this. He's cool. He likes to listen to the same rappers that we listen to, and he builds those connections. But then if he gets back out in that world again, and that could be with anybody, but how would your child respond to that? Number two, you may be one of the best that ever did it, but playing and teaching the game is a different level. You have to be skilled to deal with multiple child personalities. So just because you play the game doesn't mean you're able to deal with all these multiple personalities. And that's when I say teaching comes into play. And again, that's not an absolute, because some teachers can't handle different personalities. Some counselors can't. I know for me, I'm like, oh, this kid right here,
most definitely.
They can't come in here. I do not want to see this kid. Some things you just don't gel. But I think as a coach, you got to be able to deal with everything that's put out there as well as teachers. But again, that's an issue that's bigger than this subject matter right now. And then finally, can they handle the boundaries of interacting with many single mothers without attempting to establish? Here
we go with the women again.
Hey, Rebecca, I hear the little comments from the peanut gallery, but we all know in youth sports,
no peanuts over here.
In youth sports, you have some single mothers that may be bringing their daughter or son faithfully to the practice, and you may have some coaches that like they key in on that. Damn, where the daddy at? Damn, she fine as hell. Sooner or later,
you shouldn't be coaching.
Maybe you shouldn't be.
That applies in other areas too. It's not just
but it's always got to be the women. It always has to be the women.
So how is that the women?
You always have those male teachers that be hitting on the single mamas that they teach. I'm just saying.
Female teachers do that shit too. So.
Yep.
We know this, but we're using this.
We're using this guideline. It's always about
It's never like you just jumped all on it like I made it the woman fault. It could be the damn coach fault. He could be observing like, damn, I wonder where the daddy at. Damn, he ain't around. So let me make a move.
His concern should be the damn child and not the mama and where the daddy at.
But
stay in your lane.
Brolic T, do you think that it's coaches that key in and observe that?
Oh, I know there are. I know for a fact that there are. I've known some. Most definitely.
That's what I'm saying. So it's not about me trying to say, oh, I'm blaming the female. I'm not blaming the mother for that. She doing what she can. They're trying to evolve her damn son or daughter. And you may have this coach that's
just a predator.
Yeah, he may say shit like, damn, she fine as hell. The mother may come to him. Well, is there any way that I know he needs extra help. Is there any way that you can work with him individually?
He take that as a invite.
Exactly.
I get next to this kid, and I get to see mama more. And then
that's what I was saying.
Come on now, it's all a game. And if you gotta recognize
what female coaches can't do that.
Some women are hip to the game and they see it and be like, nah, pump your brakes. You're my child's coach, and that's where it stops right there.
Yeah. So that's all I was saying as far as this particular scenario. I'm not trying to blame no sexes or whatever the case. Yeah, female coaches could do that or whatever the case is, but I don't know. It seemed a little more different when it's a female who may not totally understand the game, but she knows I want to keep my son active in sports. I want to keep him busy. And then you have someone that has knowledge of it, may take advantage of it. But he doesn't have to be a felon. This just happened to be that particular situation where it was a felon coach. It could be any coach. It could be a damn teacher that's a coach and be like, damn. It happens. It happens all day long. It happens in the school system. It happens all day long with teachers sleep with parents. And some teachers sleep with students.
I've heard stories about that shit.
Yeah, so that's all I wanted to address. I don't have no personal agenda like, oh, male, female, whatever, because I know shit gets real. But all right, since we come to the segment of who needs counseling.
You.
Okay, you mad at me today? All right, I got you. Who needs counseling?
You.
Okay. First of all, when you are on social media with matching T-shirts, his and hers, kings and queens T-shirts, and who came up with these ideas? Who came up with these ideas? It really doesn't matter. I need counseling. When you got to validate and you got to go on this, he's my king, she's my queen, and all that stuff, and you got to put that on social media, your ass need counseling. You need counseling.
There's nothing wrong with public displays of
there
is. There's nothing wrong with that. I think it's cute. If you can make it work, I mean, hey, I ain't knocking it.
Okay, I don't expect you to knock it. I'm just saying, for my segment, that's who need counseling. Y'all ready to rip in on me, but you know what? You know I ain't going no fucking way. I'm not ripping in.
I'm just saying I'm not gonna knock it. I mean, if you can take your husband or your significant other to go out and wear this damn shirt to say that he belonged to you, damn it, you doing something right. Because most
you looking for validation. You looking for validation. You looking for validation. Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are. So why the hell you got to put a T-shirt on that? Why you got to put a T-shirt on that?
If you want to wear that, if that couple likes that, then let them do them. If I put on Facebook my boo, and I want to put that up there because that's my
a little
boo,
different when you posing with pictures, king, queen, and all that stuff.
I mean, that ain't my thing, but if you like it, I love it.
Okay, it ain't your thing. So chill.
They don't need counseling.
They need counseling.
I don't think they need counseling. Hell, it's people who don't. It's people who don't do shit like that. And I ain't even gonna get started on the relationship guru. Come out there.
Oh, I already know D-Jax.
Y'all was giving women all this advice about what they need to do to check their man. And he out there running the streets being a whole hoe. So I'm just saying. It don't matter. Matching have a great relationship.
And I'm glad you brought up that point, Brolic T, because that was one of the points, whatever. Y'all was teabagging off of D-Jax. Y'all was teabagging off of him.
Oh no, boo-boo. I was never one of those. I was never one of those. Let me stop you right there, boo-boo. I was never one of those. Never, ever.
Face on social media. I had never seen him or heard his name before. So I was totally clueless. That shit made national news tonight. I was watching it tonight.
I know some people
it was on the national news.
I know some people who lived by his advice, and I was like, everybody got a skeleton in the closet. I don't give a fuck who it is. His shit gonna fall out one day.
So that's how it is with most people that walk in deceit and treacherousness. That's what I'm saying that way. But it's sad that he tried to clean it up before it all came out.
That's not what. Let me jump in here. What y'all have to understand with Derek Jackson is this: his brand specifically. He was encouraging black women specifically to be as they are, that men will accept them as they are. They will be faithful and loyal.
He did not follow his own advice. He just fucked his whole brand all the way up.
Get out. That was his brand. Now, he can't maintain that brand, if, like you said, Brolic, if he's going to go against what he preaches and be hypocritical. This is where he is doing damage control by, and mind you, I haven't watched the video because I know Derek Jackson. We know Derek Jackson is full of shit from years ago. We said this dude is a great A sin. He's doing this, he's saying this, and he's praying, and we're gonna do a show on this. He's praying on the vulnerabilities of females. And now it's come full circle. And he's got to stay, he's as my boy called it, he shit the bed, and now he's got to play in it.
Okay, check this out. I'm gonna show you
Well, it is, guys. I only came in for a minute. I heard some smoke going on, and I just wanted to get on for a minute. Then I'm getting off. But it's always a pleasure. Y'all have a good night.
Have a good night.
Good night. Also, we got one more. The third. Your identity is everyone's identity. You don't know who you are. You 50 years old, don't know who you are. You try to emulate others. Stop portraying someone else. And remember, these who needs counseling is based on social media stuff that you see. When you start portraying others, you don't know who you are. You're damn near 50. You want to everything somebody else do, you want to do. Your ass need counseling, whatever. There's certain career inventories. There's certain things that you could do to determine, like, what do I want to be when I grow up? Well, you're 50, you've grown up. You almost, as they say, as the memes say, you're almost dead. But you see it. Y'all know what I'm talking about. And be who you are. Be who you are. If you can't be that, your ass need counseling. If you still at 50 and you don't know what the hell's going on, and you trying to emulate others, you try to emulate sports teams that they like, you try to emulate freaking hobbies they like, your ass need counseling. Y'all may disagree, ladies, but that's my feel on it. Remember, this
And it rocks the cradle much?
Huh?
I said, hand that rocks the cradle much? You want to live somebody else's life?
Yeah. And do you agree that it's a lot of people that want to live somebody else's life?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So me in my segment of this, you need counseling. If you're still trying to live somebody else's life,
Beyonce every now and again, but you know.
See, that's just a little bit.
I don't want to be Beyonce, but I wouldn't mind having her money.
I want to live a life. I wouldn't mind living a life.
I wouldn't mind having
Okay, you said Beyonce,
but I don't want to be her.
But do you want to live the average nurse or somebody nurse's life? Somebody below your level life.
Nurse's life. I do live the average nurse.
No, I'm talking about regular, common people.
I am regular, common people.
See, you just being oppositional right now.
No,
you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying.
What do you say?
So for me to say, as a counselor, say, damn, this school counselor at this school, I want to be him. I want to live his life. Hell no, I don't want to be him. Would I want to live Jay-Z life, as y'all say, Beyonce, to have what he have and be able to use what I know and do things different? Yeah, I wouldn't mind that far as the money part. But just somebody
as far as the money part, but all that other stuff, no, yeah. I'm good.
As the shoe closet, I'll take the shoe closet.
So that's what I'm saying. So again, girly girl. So a regular nurse, would you say, I want to be her?
But I am her. So I'm sorry.
Never mind. Never mind.
I'm a good nurse. I'm where I want to be in my field. I'm making the money that I want to make. So I am her, is what I'm saying. Somebody's probably looking over here at me talking about I want to do what she doing. So
yeah, that's the point. And that's the point. If you knew that a person was trying to do that, you were like, damn, why does this person want to be me? Why do you want to
help them? I'm all about women being the best that they can be. You know, of course you can't be Lillian and I can't be David. You can't be Frolic T, but if you're trying to advance yourself and get to where I am, I'm more than happy to help.
Well, wouldn't it be a difference if somebody came to you and said, damn, I admire what you do. Show me how to get that way, instead of you seeing stuff and you're like, damn, this person want to be me. This person want to be me on the low.
So long as you ain't trying to kill me to be me, do you? But I'm all about empowering anybody. If somebody comes to me and they say they want to be a nurse, and I've had a couple of friends say that, I'll be here to whenever I have time to help you study. I'm all about that life, you know. But then again, being a teacher, being a nurse, I do teaching. Y'all are actual educators. It's our job to to help people, to help build a foundation for them to be the best that they can be. For students say, oh, I want to be just like, you know, him, or I want to be just like her. I know it don't freak y'all out. Y'all probably feel a little flattered, like, you know, I'm doing my job because this kid is looking at somebody and is saying, I want to be this. For somebody to say, oh, I want that hair, you know, I want that nose, that type of shit, yeah, you got to get away from me. But
there are people, there are grown ass people that's 50 years old that do that stuff. That's why I'm saying they need counseling.
The implants, they can look just like me. I do you. If you're willing to invest in me so that the both of us can be the perfect Lillian, then I'm not gonna hate. But yes, you need counseling.
Thank you. Thank you. That's what I want. We agreed on something tonight. Thank you.
Just that. Just that. Let's be clear. Just that.
All right. All right. All right. We're going to get ready to close this one out. Closing words.
Don't nothing hurt but a lick.
Okay.
I just don't know what to say about y'all.
Okay.
Y'all be having some good points, and it ain't often that I agree with what y'all say. I just think sometimes y'all just let that that macho at whatever the fuck it is y'all call it, being separating the sexes, just for some reason rubs me the wrong way, but that's just me. But I believe that we are all equals. We are all capable of doing the same things. And I try to treat people as such, look at people as such. And, you know, it is what it is.
I respect that. Her.
No, you don't.
I do respect that.
You already know. Brother understanding that.
I just want to see the 5'7" female that can dunk a basketball.
Yeah, just Google any WNBA team and you can probably find one. Stop being so fucking narrow-minded.
There's only been 2 females that have dunked.
Okay, well then you saw one dunk. So
I know of one she ain't in the WNBA, but I do know of one who can.
Equality nonsense, because that's never gonna happen. But you know me, David, growth and understanding
of you are nonsense, and nobody really gives a fuck that your little tired, narrow-ass mind ain't gonna change.
So why do you keep trying to change it?
I'm not trying to change shit. Nigga, trust and believe that. You are who you are. You, your cats, all of that shit. Do you, but stop being mad that you by your damn self.
Who's mad? Maybe Michael Jackson.
You are.
Oh, interesting.
Ain't it though?
Well, that's a perception. You already know what I do with perceptions. I let them shits go.
So, nigga, don't nobody care what you do with perceptions. Don't nobody give a fuck because you really ain't doing shit anyway. So that's what that is.
I let them go.
Yeah, you oughta let a whole bunch of shit go.
All right. For me, this subject, you know, going into this stuff, I always know it's going to be one little thing or one statement. And I know that throughout the week when I post stuff. And when I posted about felons, I got smoke about that. And I look at it as, listen, if you remove felon, you put teacher in there, you put whoever you want in there, you're going to find different things to kind of change up the situation. That's what it's not about. It's about having conversations. And like I said, I don't know where it got misinterpreted. I might have said something, and what I said was that when if I got an athlete and they never played before and they're female and male, I'm not going to treat a male like he's a girl on there. He's going to go through the rigor. But if I got another coach helping him out, if I got another coach helping me, I'm going to say, okay, take these players down here. See,
Just go ahead on the face of it. Just, I mean, damn, you can watch the replay. So all I'm saying,
I can watch the replay. I can watch the replay, and I can know it.
Yeah,
You're not gonna cross. You're not gonna cross me over, and I'm not gonna act like I pretend, whatever. And anybody else watching, I bet you I could get hit up, and they can say, "I know what you mean."
No, but
you're literal. You're literal. You're literal. You're literal. That's what it is. Yeah, you're literal.
That's what you said.
You're literal.
If that's what you said, if you said grass is green and then you tried to come back and say, "But I really
your examples are poor. Your examples are poor.
No, they're not poor.
They're not poor. They're poor.
They're not poor. It's just as simple as saying treating a girl like a boy.
Because if you listen to my whole overall presentation, you would know. Nah, he don't really. He doesn't really. That's not what he's saying.
That's what you said.
So that's the thing. That's the thing. You don't understand. You don't understand.
I understand completely.
You don't understand.
We don't want to talk intellect. I understood completely.
We can talk intellect. We can talk whatever.
Said something.
The one thing you know that I ain't gonna do, I'm not gonna drop the mic and bail out. You know that. You know that. You know that.
Just simply say, I did say that, but this is what I meant. You keep trying to pretend like you did not say it. And what I'm saying,
let me clarify on what I said. I said, let me clarify what I said. And that's what I said. But you still stuck on the one point.
That's what you said.
You still stuck on the one point.
Be that it may.
Yeah. Now you big mad. You stay mad.
I'm not mad. I just find it interesting how y'all always manage to bring gender into any conversation. And
hold on. Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. Brolic T, you right here. Do I always bring gender and try to bring division between that? In your take, me personally.
No.
Exactly.
No.
Exactly. Exactly. So some people clump everybody into certain things like, oh, so you do it too. Nah, even I said, I'm going to assess the whole situation. I'm going to look at, I'm never going to treat a boy, you're a girl, or whatever the case is. What I'm going to do is work with him differently and say, he ain't ready for this yet because I don't want to hold other people back. If there's a girl and she's ready to be at a different level and she want all the smoke, she can handle it. But if it's a girl who never played, obviously I'm going to treat her differently. That's coaching. That's teaching. And that's all I want to bring to the table. I'm not going to say, no, you can't handle that. You're supposed to be like that. Because you can't make this layup or you can't make a jump shot, you need to go play with the girls' team. Or you're a girl. Nah, that's not my style. Been doing this too long. That's not my thing. Okay. Mumbo, whatever you can, girly girl.
Stop calling me girly girl.
Oh, now I can't call you girly girl.
No.
Wow. Okay. So we see. Like I always tell y'all, we never know what's going to happen in the counselor's corner. All it takes is one statement and everything changes up. But I'm okay with that. But
I'm just amused because we were talking about the convict working with kids and we end up talking about sports and equality the rest of the damn night. And my humble opinion.
That's because he asked me some random ass question about coaching and shit. And then he made the comment about, the boys already know. The girls do not. And then when I said something about it, then he was just like, well, the girls were brand new to it, which led into the statement about treating girls like boys or boys like girls.
I think he was triggered at that point. So then when I said something, so I was lumped into that when you know damn well that wasn't the case. It even for Herb's sake, whatever, there may be some boys, but again, some girls may be, and that's what I was trying to say. There are some girls that's been playing, so they know I got to drink my Gatorade. I got to do this. I got to work out because they've been through the grind. Where some girls have not been through that.
That has nothing to do with being a boy though. And when I ask you, so do you believe that girls should be treated like, or girls should be treated like boys just because they're seasoned athlete? Your reply was yes. And then you tried to say, oh, but that's not what I meant. And it was a very simple answer that you gave. Yes, it wasn't.
Party. There's a watch party to see whatever. And I know that I know it wasn't meant that way. And so I'm sitting here telling you live that it wasn't meant that way. No, there's no differentiation. It depends on the level of where they at. Each individual is different. Okay. Each individual is different.
Wow.
When we look at the team that Herb said, a bunch of girls who never played before, and that's, if you recall what I said, then that recalls further education to the parents.
You did say that.
Make sure they drink their liquids. Make sure when they're not at practice, make sure they work out. Make sure they exercise. Make sure they're doing different things. We only allow, because you also have to understand in youth sports, sometimes you're only allowed a certain amount of gym time. You got to split it up. And even in sports, you got to split stuff up. So sometimes you have to do stuff outside of that. And you may have parents to say, hey, is there any way that we can get together outside of that? And a coach may say, if there's enough parents involved, interested, then we can hold another practice or do whatever the case is. But it depends on the individuals. It depends on the individuals. So I already know my stance on that. I'm sorry, Rebecca, I can't call you girly girl no more. But I already know my stance in my perspective on this subject area.
Because you're an outstanding coach.
Anything else anybody got to say before we sign out?
I think everybody that work with children should get a background check.
You got to in Texas. I don't know where they doing it.
It doesn't necessarily protect a child, but hell, I'd rather be able to say we did a background check and nothing showed up, so that when something shows up, it's not like, well, we didn't run a background check and it's a whole bunch of shit that says that this person has done this, that, and the third, and we didn't do our due diligence.
Yeah.
And you know what?
If you got a felony,
you just got a CYA.
Yeah,
I agree with
that. You don't even get
a
chance in Texas if you got any type of felony. It don't matter how good you are.
It's the same in Louisiana.
Yeah,
I've seen a couple of teachers that were like dismissed over shit that they did when they were in their 20s, and we talking decades ago, and they just like, nope.
Yeah,
nope.
It's the same way here. So, and truth be told, I don't know. People can say what they want, but all you need is one thing to go wrong, and everybody will say, well, why did you let your kid be around, that person? That'll be the first thing that you hear when things go wrong. So it's just not, it's not really a good idea. If you have ex-cons that really want to preach, not this road, not this way, then they should be counseling or be guest speakers, at some sort of outreach program or something like that. That's a way for them to reach those youth or those at-risk youth. But trying to have them coach, I don't know what state would really allow that.
No, and I think it depends on the level. Like if it's a school thing, it's different. But I think rec sports, like I said, and I know in Maryland, it wasn't always. It was on the application. It would say, "Will you be willing to volunteer?" And if somebody checked off the thing, and then they'll send you an email, then you can come there and volunteer. But I think in the last year or two or so, they changed it up that you had to have some type of clearance. So
does this depend on the felony that was committed? Whether or not you would let your child be in the presence of this person?
I don't think it really even matters in most places.
I'm sorry, I'm getting an echo. That was the point I was making earlier with classification of felonies. There, for the individual, there's a difference. So if you have somebody that's convicted of embezzling $500,000, that's a felony. But somebody will say, what's a nonviolent felon? So I don't concern myself with that because I don't have $500,000 to be embezzled. Conversely, if you have somebody that's convicted of involuntary manslaughter or something like that, that's a felony because you do more than 2 years in jail. That's the
so would that make a difference on whether or not you would let that person coach or have your child around that person as an athlete?
I'll be back, people. I need a break.
It's immaterial because more than likely I'm going to be there or I'm going to coach it anyway. But for people that don't have the ability that I do, for them, they have to make that call. And this is the point that I'm making. Somebody that's convicted of a DWI death, that's a felony. Are we willing to say that somebody who made a terrible decision, got behind the wheel of a car drunk, drove and killed somebody, is not worthy of being able to ingratiate themselves back into society? That's the larger question that we have to ask.
Do you mean ingratiate themselves into every part of society?
Society is society.
Well, no, because you can own a home and go to work and attend church and attend social functions, but do you get to drive a school bus? Would you trust that person to drive your kid to school every day?
You're talking about a job versus society. A job.
Okay, well,
should they be able to coach?
Because coaching is
when I say society, I'm just talking about to be able to go out and do things that you want to do.
Then no, I would say no. Then
okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's why I said it's up to the individual to make that call. For me, it's one half a dozen of the other. I'm not going to tell somebody what they should want to do or should not want to do. I would tell, and like I said earlier, that's going to be up to the individual to make that call.
Well, wanting to do something and actually doing it are two different things, though. I mean, you can want to do something all you want, but that doesn't mean that you're going to be allowed to do it.
It's not permissible. It's not about what you want.
If you're a felon and you're not allowed to do certain things, you can want to do that, but that doesn't mean you should be allowed to do it. So if you're a convicted felon, should you be able to coach? No. Can you want to do it? Yeah, but you're gonna be around children.
But that's what we were getting into with the type of felonies.
Well, that's why I asked you, would you
sometimes it doesn't matter what type of felony that you have.
No.
Some places won't hire you regardless.
Slow down. Different people make different exceptions for crimes. That's why I said a non-violent felony versus a violent felony. It's not up to me to make that decision for another person's child. It's up to them. That's all. Me, I'm going to be there every step of the way. But that's just the type of individual line.
If you had kids? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
So you wouldn't have a problem with your child being around a felon?
No.
I think you might want to clean that up a little bit.
Brother T, let me give you a little bit of advice on Herbert Lewis.
I say that because what if the person's crime
let me give you a little bit of advice on Herbert Lewis.
I say that because what if the person's crime was against children? You still want your child to be around somebody who has a felony for doing something to children. That's why I said you might want to clean that up, because it all depends on what kind of felony that person has, and that's what I'm saying.
I'm not even going
to people have the right to discretion, which is true. It all depends on the type of felony that they have. Some places will hire somebody with a felony, but it all depends on the type of felony that they have.
I'm not even going to dignify that question with a response.
Why not?
You're the one who said it, so I said you probably should clean that up. You said you wouldn't have a problem with your child being around somebody with a felony. You might want to clean that up today, as long as that felony doesn't involve acts against a child.
It's just like what David said earlier to Rebecca when
be very discreet in what you say.
Are bad examples. Y'all reach for bad examples.
It wasn't a bad example.
It was a bad example.
Don't use me as an analogy.
Trying to defend what you were saying.
Y'all don't have the discussions in good faith. Y'all reach for something that's asinine and then expect somebody to disagree.
No, you make an asinine answer. You go back and clean it up.
You said it. Now you're mad because I corrected you on what you said.
Did it make
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. That's what you say. You do that shit all the time. You put your foot in your mouth and then you get mad.
The question was, would I object to having my child around a convicted felon? I said no. Then you want to add something to it. That's what I'm talking about.
You add shit to conversations.
But
all the
I
time,
said
so
you should clean that up because a convicted, what if this convicted felon is somebody who got their felony because they were a predator and did things to children?
You add something to the question.
You always add something to the conversation.
Well,
Every time we on this panel, you mix it up and add some new caveat to the conversation to make the conversation go in a different direction. All she simply asked you, well, all I asked you is, does the nature of the crime make a difference to you? And you said no, because I'm going to be there every step of the way. And she said, even if he was a molester, and then you got
no. I did say
that. I said you should clean it up because what if that person, and you tried to cut me off, but what if that person has a felony for something involving harming children?
Y'all don't get it.
We do get it. Nigga,
one person asks a question, then another person wants to add something to it when the initial question has been answered.
I do that shit all the time, and then when we do it, it's a fucking problem.
Yeah.
That's that double standard shit we always complaining about. Y'all do that shit to us all the time. The minute we turn the table, it's a fucking problem. Grow the hell up.
You're not turning the table. You're moving the goalposts. There's a huge difference between turning the table.
Ain't nobody moving no goalposts. I need you to get your life, sir. Get your life.
She asked you a simple question.
The question she asked initially, I answered. Then there was another question on top of that.
You do that all the time.
Okay.
You do that shit all the time. Oh my Lord.
So if it ain't a problem for you, answer the question again now.
I'm not going to dignify the question with a response.
Okay, just shut the fuck up and stay out of the conversation. If you don't want to answer the questions, then shut up.
Listen, the one thing we know, we already know that these conversations go draw heat. It's going to draw heat.
You got something to say. You always bumping your motherfucking gums on a fucking topic. But then when somebody try to ask you a question, then it's, I don't want to answer. You ain't nobody daddy. You ain't nobody mama. You ain't got no fucking kids. You ain't married. But you feel like you got a comment to make on every single mom, any mom that got kids.
Oh, hey, you ain't heard the half of it yet. So you may want to make this your last stream if that's what bothers you. Because I'm about to turn up the heat.
That's not what he said, Gwendolyn. But you're trying to help him. I guess I'll respect that.
What dad should be doing.
Believe that.
You ain't none of that.
I'm about to turn up the heat. You ain't heard nothing yet. So you might want to make this your last stream. I'm telling you now. Nigga, if that mess bothers you, then what I'm gonna drop is really gonna bother you. I'm letting you know now. I'm letting you know now.
All you do is speak from a place of hurt and fucking anger, and you lash that shit out onto everybody else because you don't know shit about being nobody's parent.
I'm gonna let you know now.
I just find it funny how it's always the ones that ain't got kids that got all the damn advice in the world for parents.
Motherfucking thing. And then when you ask them a question, I'm not gonna dignify that with an answer. Nigga, it was yes or no. No, I wouldn't let my kids be around someone that's committed crimes against kids, but yes, I would let my kids be around somebody that embezzled money. It's the nature of the crime that makes the difference to me.
And that's all he had to do was clean it up. That's all I said was you should clean that up and not just say you don't have a problem with your child being around a convicted felon. Because as he has explicitly said, there's a difference between a nonviolent felony and a violent felony. Clean that shit up. Clean that shit up. Don't say I don't have a problem with it. And then Joe Smo over here.
Little bitch.
Oh, come on, Rebecca.
Don't come on, Rebecca mean nothing. Because you know just as well as I do, he likes to circumvent everything.
Exactly.
Just like the little threat he
all I did was do what he does. And there you go, adding other stuff on. But you do that shit every show, and it's never a problem when he do it. But let somebody try on the shit that he do on him, and he get all of his damn feelings. Get your life together.
Nigga
Stop being so fucking emotional.
He ain't got no.
Oh, you can't change the game on me.
Yeah, But you always want to be the one to
what's
tell
good for the goose is good for the gander.
They should be doing or not doing, and you ain't got no damn life experience on either of those topics. So shut all the way up and get a pen and a piece of paper and take some damn notes.
Pretty much.
I'm fixing to drop some stuff on y'all that's really gonna make you upset, nigga. 3,
bruh.
3.
No, what amuses me is that you be intentionally trying to make me upset. Like, what kind of sycophant are you?
He can make me upset. I'm not going for that bullshit no more. You want to get on here and talk some real truth, nigga? You done came to the right place. Let's get at it. Let's put all that shit out there on the table. Let's compare these apples and oranges, cause let's do that.
Woo! Scorpio T, what's good?
What up?
Hi.
Hey, Becca. Brolic T, thank you for sending me the link.
I swear I'm not coming back to the show. It's just too damn irritating for me.
You're not coming back now. Now you about to leave again.
It is so many other things I could be doing than arguing with an ignorant ass man about any topic that all you did was Google it. You read the first 2 sentences and now you think you a damn expert on whatever the fuck it is you read, and you ain't got no life experience. You swear to God you can tell every single black woman about how she doing wrong about her child when you ain't nobody's motherfucking daddy. Nobody's daddy. You ain't got no kids, ain't hoped, wish.
Because he's speaking from a place of hurt. He's speaking from that little boy that got mistreated and all that shit, and he can't let it go. He's the one that needs some counseling. Go lay on somebody's damn couch and talk about it. Get a fucking hug.
What the fuck?
He's always talking about it. He's speaking from his own traumatic experience. It is what it is. Recognize it for what it is and don't take it personal. He can't help it. He's still a broken kid that somebody need to fix.
Whatever it is. I'm tired of him throwing that shit.
If he do recognize it, he just, I don't know. We won't confront that shit.
The environment about males and females. Cause that shit's just not, it ain't happening no more. You take that shit somewhere and sit on it and twirl and all the rest of that bullshit.
You ladies come hardcore. Y'all come hardcore.
No, I come in docile. Okay,
it's not a matter
I come in very docile.
You just can't get on here and
what I don't tolerate is bullshit at the end of the day. And I've never been that person.
To get away with that shit. If you got a point to make and it truly is a valid point, it makes for good discussion, let's discuss it. But you're not going to come on here and consistently week after week talking that old hoe shit and think that you fixing to get away with it, because it's just not happening. And
so make him run.
And talking about next week or whenever, I'm really getting ready to say something that's gonna upset you. Okay.
Who make him
run? You fixing to hear something that's really fixing to upset you.
Make himself run.
Yeah. Nobody got time for that shit. I thought this platform was supposed to be for discussion, for learning something new and getting a different perspective. And all you ever hear is some old woman hating, we dumb, we weak, bullshit. Ain't nobody got time for that. Nigga, I outpace you by every step. I promise you I do. So.
Okay. Scorpio P.
He always sitting up there talking that shit. Don't dish it if you can't take it.
Now, just
for us making him run, he put his damn foot in his mouth, and then he get in his feelings when he realized he done said something that he can't fucking fix. He can't clean it up and he can't retract it. He should listen to himself. He always accusing us of not listening and just speaking to respond, but he do that shit more than we do.
That shit is just so damn disrespectful.
That he broken. I've been saying that shit.
Just because you got a penis, you just think that you're so much better than everybody else. When
penises can't carry babies and push them out. Men are definitely not the stronger species.
And I'm not even arguing arguing that. We're all people. We all have our strengths and weaknesses and should be seen as just that. It shouldn't matter if I'm a female and he's a guy. We are who we are. What I'm good at, I'm good at. Whatever he's good at, he's good at. Hopefully, if he's my husband, he's going to teach me something. And if I'm his wife, I'm going to teach him something. And we just going to move through life. This bullshit about because I'm the man, then I should be running shit. You got life and bullshit so fucked up that it's fucked up. Because that's not what that is. That is not what that is. And in today's society, that people don't even think like that anymore. Women are out here working it, holding it down because we had to. There was a time where we had to come into the workforce because men were off fighting a war. There was a depression going on. It was all types of bullshit going on where we had to go to work to help out. And now, in these times, to be a housewife is a rare thing. If your husband ain't making 6 figures, your ass is going to work because refrigerators don't cost $50 no more. And you can't maintain a home and 2.5 kids and your wife on your little $40,000 a year. That shit ain't gonna happen no damn well.
Y'all all gonna be on welfare and food stamps and everything else.
Thank you. And now that women are out here working and realizing, hey, I can do it too. I can run a house. I can be independent. I can do this. I can do that. It's some people out here that's mad about that. And I don't understand why. If I were married, I would want my husband to work, and I would hope he would want me to work, because whatever the hell we fixing to do this shit together. And
I'm gonna say this to clarify that. That's my philosophy. If you out there and you can get it,
care about your philosophy.
Still being mad at me?
Yes.
Yeah.
For at least 24 hours.
Oh, I want a 24-hour restriction. All right, I'll take that. But
you good in my book. Yeah, you always are. I didn't particularly care for that statement, but if you say that's not what you meant, then that's not what you meant. At least you will admit that's not what I meant. So, you know.
And all day long, I'm gonna assess every situation as different. But Scorpio Tio ain't been on in a while. I want to hear what she got to say about this. Then we're gonna get get out of here.
Y'all have to forgive me. Like 1 week it was my anniversary. The following week it was all male
anniversary.
The following week, thank you. The following week after that,
I saw you on Facebook with your face all
I did. I'm looking all cute and everything, like you trying to catch whatever. And I know that ain't the case. I know.
Right. So I mean, but that's one of my businesses. That's one of the things that I do. So. That's why you see
working it.
Black Girl Magic.
Keep going. Yeah, keep it going.
I appreciate that. Mad love. I appreciate that. So I was not able to tune in. I actually did not get the link until Brolic T sent it to me, because for some reason people keep forgetting to send me the link.
Oh, listen. I don't send the link every time. He
didn't send it. I just got it when I came on and I seen it in the comments. So I just copied it and sent it to everybody.
Well, so I'm going to tell y'all, my phone is extremely cheap. So you guys got to send me the link. so I ain't going to even try to front. This phone is trash. So with that being said, you know, I just feel like if you're going to have this platform, that it should be used appropriately. It's too many people out here confused about what life is. There's too many people confused about where to go in life, what to do in life, and even about themselves. So if you don't give them something useful, you really are wasting your time. With that being said, I don't think that there's a person on here who has not had their own experiences. And you can't speak for my experiences just like I can't speak for yours. Now, I can identify with them, but I don't take the things that are said here personally, because as far as I'm concerned, they don't apply to me. You can't even make me upset about something that does not apply to me. However, I feel like if you're asking me to take what you say as valid, I should have that same courtesy extended to me. So if you tell me that this is your concept, I'm not going to argue with you necessarily that your concept is wrong. I'm just going to give you a peace of mind. What you do with that information is totally up to you. My job is to tell you, your job is to do with it what you want. So I know that I was listening to that all male panel. I told Brolic T, I said, I'm not about to listen to this trash. I got better things to do. I had to go watch Coming to America #2. Which turned out to be all right. So with that being said, let's make this a panel of usefulness.
Listen.
Rebecca said something that's true. It's a lot of woman, especially single mother bashing that's happening. And it kind of breaks my heart because everybody, with the exception of Anita, looks like me. And to see that, it's like, wow. Is there a pause button? Listen, can we go ahead?
No, let me say this, and I could tell you this in all honesty. I've been when Herbert was mentioning Kevin Samuels, I'm like, who the frick is Kevin Samuels? And I start paying attention to certain things. This shit is really a movement that people don't understand. It really is, where you have men thinking like this and coming out saying certain things. Because before, like, I always went for the traditional stuff. With my grandmother told me how to treat women, and no matter what, even if I really wanted to disagree with them, I would always hold back. And my grandmother would always say, do right by people, do right by people. So that would be stuck in my head. But I see all these guys, when you say Kevin Samuels, he say this, and he's like, oh, women should be this, should be that. And I'm like, damn. Because before I never heard of this guy. But now all of a sudden, he's everywhere, which helped him out, according. And then this D Jackson thing. So it's not about this platform. I already know we're going to have some going back and forth. And they probably would have this in a classroom structure if kids were allowed to have autonomy and speak what they want to speak. But society is so robotic that, oh, we say this, put it out there, you regurgitate this stuff, and that's that. But as adults, we are able to challenge each other on certain things. So I don't mind. I let stuff go on, and sometimes it may go too far. I've been getting texts from my mother. End it. Cancel the show. End it right now. But no, I'm not, because this is authentic and real emotions, real and raw. And that's how it is.
And here's the thing. That movement amongst the men that you're talking about, it's supposed to be all these high value men to have this and have that, and why they can't find a woman. Okay. So if you want to talk about that movement, you have to break it down to the basic elements. It's the same thing with women. They're bitter men and they're bitter women. It has nothing to do with the amount of money you make, the degrees you have, children or no children, period. They're just bitter. And instead of doing the work on themselves, they project their feelings onto everyone. I keep hearing people talk about Derek Jackson. Okay, here's my thing. Y'all act like this man was God. He gave you some information. What you do with that is up to you. That does not mean I have to take what you say as valid, and neither do you have to take what I say as valid. So if you're going to talk about, even a lot of the movements in history have been misled, people have been they've been tricked into thinking that it's one thing when it's absolutely something else. So if you're going to join a movement, at the very least, know the basic elemental building blocks to it. Don't tell me when you spit in the air that it's glitter coming down and I should collect it because it's glitter. Glitter is 99 cents a tube, baby. I don't need that. But what I do need, or I'm speaking as a woman, what you do need is good information on how to make choices in your life, how to evaluate things in your life. If you're the bitter person, you need to take a look at yourself, because nobody can fix that but you. And what I'm learning is there are a lot of men that are of age, but are not of age mentally. So you want to be respected. Respect is not given, it's earned. You have to earn that respect, and you do that by a certain number of things: having some integrity, having good character, saying what you mean, meaning what you say, do what you mean, do what you said you was going, so on and so forth. So that's like a two-way street. And this is yet again why I say we have to address more issues than just women. We can do this all day. And guess what? Them women that you're talking about don't sit on on this panel. So they're going to keep being the same women that they are. But if you want to learn and understand from some of us older women, and I'm saying, and I wear my age like a badge. Somebody asked me why I won't get rid of the wrinkles under my eyes, because I earned them. And I'm not ashamed of me. With that being said, you have to address the issues. Let's address the toxic masculinity in this world. Let's address the toxic bitterness in this world. Let's address a whole bunch of the issues that really will make a change. Now, I know you don't see if, because I got sons too, Dave. So I'll probably be like, listen, dude, your show getting away from you. You might want to get, that's what I'd be telling my kid too. So I'm not mad at your mom for saying that. But I know that this is a conversation that has to be had. And I know that challenging thing, but even when you challenge people, there is a way to do it. I heard someone call, I forgot what that other lady that was on the panel, inauthentic. Now, how you gonna tell her how she feel about what she said? That you just can't do that. You know what I mean? If she said that's the way she feel, apparently that's the way she feels. So to do that that's when it becomes personal. It's no longer a conversation. It becomes an attack. And nobody wants to sit on this panel and be attacked. I know Herb likes to say a lot of controversial things, but Herb says a lot of things without knowledge. And I say without knowledge because you can't tell me how to be a parent when you don't have kids, because guess what? Kids are not textbook. Everything you learn in that textbook, baby, 9 times out of 10 does not apply to real life children. What that textbook leaves out is their feelings, their emotions, and the humanistic aspect that goes with it. So, it sounds good, but it's not always valid. Just like saying, a man can do what a woman can't do. That is true, and yet it's not true. A woman can do what a man can't do. That's true, and yet it's not true. So there's supposed to be growth and understanding in the gray area, but shoot, I need some growth and understanding. I'm just saying.
I ain't seeing no growth and understanding. I love you, Scorpio T.
I'm getting my woman love on right now for you. That was just wonderful, because I've been trying to get that point across, and you said it so much better. We know there's a lot of negative men and women out there, but the people on your panel are all trying to move upward, in life. And we've worked hard, all of us, including Herb, to get somewhere in life. And to sit on here and constantly have to defend a platform is tiring. I will never not be a single Black mother, never in life. No matter what I do, I'll never be able to get away from that. And when I hear people talk about a group that I belong to, and I find that offensive. Not to say that there ain't some raggedy women out there, because Lord knows there are, just like there are men. But we should not be this lumping,
exactly,
of people together like that. Is so damn offensive that I can see why your mom said shut it down, because that he's seriously gonna get his feelings hurt one day coming out of his mouth like that, because it's just so damn vile. And with this being your platform, I would think that even though you want people to learn and have a discussion, that you also want people to be respected and to leave the show feeling that I gained something from this.
Well, you know what? I do know that people gain something, and I get messages and stuff like that from people. I don't broadcast it and advertise it. My mother may have a different understanding in this. I know there's going to be some uncomfortable times. That's why it's courageous conversations. But I'm just going to read you. This is from a man, what he had to say about the thing. And most men don't admit stuff like this. He said, "Big bro, it's been a minute, but I wanted to chime in. Came in on the end of a conversation that you were having about having diversity of people in your life, knowing that you, he has some typos in here. Know that I wanted, excuse me, make it seem like I can't read. No, but I
right.
can read. I can read. I'm trying to break down this thing.
That's okay.
I can read. I can read very well. Know that you that I wanted
you.
that I have brought you into my circle. So he was saying that he brought me into my circle, but we never met. He said, if it's okay to say that. People ask why is it so easy to converse with me, or how did I get so well rounded? It's only due to people like you, whom I don't get a chance to hang out with or talk to. However, the level of thought and intelligence you bring to the table is often not experienced, even in the church world. Know that I love you and thank you. Things have changed quite drastically for me, so I often miss conversations due to my work schedule. Stay up, stay in touch, big bro. I need it if nobody else does. Again, I thank you. So it's other
Well,
stuff
see,
that I
that's what
get.
I'm talking about.
That's
That's what
awesome.
I'm talking about. You have a confirmation that this
Yep.
platform is helping someone. And that's what I like to hear. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? I like to hear that.
Yeah. And I know it to be other than the little circle that comes on here that people hit me up. I know it's going to be some smoke, and I know things are said, and I know all it takes is one word to kind of trigger off something or a misinterpretation or somebody not going deep into what is said that can light a whole fire. And I keep saying I'm
And
here
that
for the smoke.
and you know I am too. I don't play that. But with that being said, and Rebecca, I know why you feel the way you do, because I was a single mother too. But nobody, and I mean nobody, is gonna make me ashamed of that, nor are they gonna make me ashamed of my children. I did what I could do and I did my best. And if you got your mouth on me for that, that's your problem. Because guess what? My kids ain't gonna never stop loving me, and I ain't gonna never stop loving them. So it
You
don't
know,
make a difference to me.
the sister love that I get, because usually after this is over with, I usually get a phone call or I get a series of messages from one of the other panel members, and they always reaffirm what I already know. And she told me, stop letting him get you, to that point. And I continuously tell myself before I get on that I'm going to maintain my composure. But I tell you, it's something about the way he presents his so-called knowledge about us that I can't. And trust and
But
believe.
listen,
I
there is
try.
nothing
I've
wrong.
talked to my pastor about this, and he told his only words to me was like, "Shame on you," for
Let
letting
me,
that happen. And I guess I have to agree with that, but it
let me
just,
say this to you, Rebecca. There is nothing wrong with being passionate about what you believe and who you are. There is no harm in that at all. There's nothing wrong with that. What you feel and what you say is true, is wrong, is real. And nobody, and I do mean nobody, can invalidate that. So don't feel bad
I
about it.
know,
Just know what it is. When you go fishing, you fish. When you throw that worm out in the water, it's a bait. And if the fish don't bite, you don't take one home. So don't bite the bait.
and just for him to make that little covert threat at the very end,
I
you
heard
might
it.
want to make this your last show, because what I have to say, I guess next week or whenever, you're really not gonna like it. See, it's that type of stuff that gives me the impression that people are out here just sitting down thinking up ways to be offensive.
I forget how to pronounce her name. Y'all call her Mofo. She said something that was so valid. She said, no, she really said something that was valid. I tuned in on the end of the show. She was saying, you need to know that there are people out there who really believe this. You need to know that. That's valid information. And how you weed them out and what you do with them, hopefully you can gain that on this, platform. I'm not speaking of you in particular. I'm just saying in general. You need to know that because everything that smells, look good, and smell good ain't good. When you play dominoes, they'll tell you in a heartbeat, all money ain't good money.
I believe that I ain't every man's cup of tea, but I only need to be one man's cup of tea. So I'm a firm believer that if you put yourself out there and you show me who you really are, good. Because now I know to stay the hell out of your way and you stay the hell out of my way. The Lakia said, I'm running my house over here, you run yours over there. And I firmly agree with that. If that's how you choose to live your life, who am I to hate it? Because I may or may not agree with it, but what you're not going to do is make me feel bad for being in the position that I'm in and make me feel worthless.
You as adults and even as parents mostly too, you have to make some very hard decisions for not just your life, but your children's life. They're not going to always look good, feel good, and it's not going to always be a great fit, but it's the best decision you can make at that moment. And if that means making a decision to become a single parent, so be it. I know somebody in the comments said something. You can come from a 2-parent household, be the best parents in the world, and the streets will still eat your child. The streets will eat your baby alive and spit them out. Yeah. So that's just the truth of the matter. So I don't know what it is because I worked at a job where we dealt with children every day, and the person that was in charge didn't have a child, didn't even understand the way that children manifest certain things. So if you have no understanding of that, what are you doing here? She was more detrimental to the job than any and everything that could have been.
Should be taking notes.
You just have to, being a teacher.
It's easy to throw stones when you live in a glass house.
Thank you.
Brolic T is in a unique position because she's not just a teacher of life, but her profession is a teacher. So she has probably a little greater perspective on children other than her own than most of us do. Besides, maybe with you too, Dave, because you work with children. Hey, Anita. Because you work with children. So if you listen, when I was a young teenager, 13, 14 years old, I used to babysit 11 children at one time and with no problems. So I was taking care of kids before I ever had kids. So at that time, I was qualified to speak on children based on my experiences with them. So if you don't have the same type of experience, being a counselor is different from being a full-time parent. Because when you punch the clock as a counselor, you're done. There ain't no clock to punch when you're a parent. Whether you're a single parent, a dual parent, a 2-parent, I don't care what you call it, there is no clock. So, sometimes you just have to be more mindful of things. Well, that's all I'm saying.
Well, I play dual roles.
I agree.
I play dual roles, but for that, I don't dispute anything that any of you are saying, and it's true. But the thing is that what we also have to understand, there's always going to be some resistance or some opposition to our views. We live that every day with the Black Lives Matter and all of this stuff. There's always going to be some opposition to what's going on. The only thing we could do is hear what people got to say and know how strong and firm that we stand. And when you have your belief in yourself.
Listen, Dave, let's be honest. And this is a reoccurring theme. It's not just here, but men seem to think that they could tell a woman how to be a woman, but she can never tell him how to be a man because we don't understand that.
Oh no, you tell a man how to be a man. You are emasculating, and you want to be a man, and you are angry.
I don't
different things.
I don't know.
And it's crazy because a man can come out of his face and tell a woman that she needs to walk around with her face beat all the time, and her nails done, and her body just right. But we can't tell a man that he needs to smell good and be
and not wear that ugly ass sweater
and not get the
business. see, she know that shit is a trigger, and she keep going at it, and that's what I'm saying.
Wait a minute, I didn't go at no trigger. I just simply
I ain't talking about you. I'm talking about girly girl, because I'm still calling you girly girl. Still talking about this Christmas sweater. Ain't it almost April? That was like 4 months ago.
It was traumatizing.
Let it go. Let it go.
It is true, though. You know, we can't tell y'all what it's like to be a black man. We can tell you what it's like dealing with a black man, but y'all can't tell us.
Dealing with y'all ain't fucking easy.
You can tell us what it's like dealing with a black woman or the black woman that you've dealt with, but you can't tell us how to be women. What you like in regards to a black woman might not be what the next man likes in regards to a black woman. So when you have men on here speaking to all of us like we're all the same, if you're a single black mother, then you must be treacherous. You did something vile to chase that man away. You naturally ain't gonna let him see his kids because you're a single black mom. It's always some negative shit. And if that was his life experience, I'm really sad about that. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. I'm really sad about that. But to throw that ignorant, vile, hateful rhetoric onto other people he just can't do that shit no more.
You know, if I came back on real quick anymore. I just wanted to come back on real quick. I've been listening. I've been cleaning and listening. One thing I want to share is that the show has been beneficial, and I believe, just to let David know that I believe the concept of the controversial counselor, and and the counseling corner, what's going on with this broadcast, is necessary for conversation, and it does get out of hand sometimes. But I look at it as having fun. I don't take it personal because he don't, like I said, I've said in other times in the show, if you ain't putting no food on my table or clothes on my back, regardless, whatever comes out of your mouth, it has no weight. And then secondly, I have to say that having that conversation with hearing the men panel regarding how they feel about single women, I wouldn't have never known if I didn't hear them say that. And so single mothers. And also I had a situation happen where a gentleman said he was not going to leave his house to his significant other. He was leaving it to his children, which is one of the things that he was saying. They were saying in the on that broadcast, and I was able to counsel her and coach her in how to handle that situation. There's more, like I was sharing with someone, I said there's more ways to skin a cat. There's more than one way to skin a cat. When they don't want to add you into that way, but don't forget, I can still put an insurance policy out on you and be just as set
don't
when you leave here without permission. So, and we got to just be smarter. And I understand, I appreciate the conversations because it just allows me to be able to digest it, try to, some things was okay. Some things were understandable because that's their life. Everybody has their own life they have to live. Right. Respect it. But I refuse to allow someone that has no weight in my life to move my spirit out of what it is going to be. My peace will remain, So, except for people that I care about, they move me differently. So
that's exactly.
I just wanted to share
exactly why. That's exactly why I said a discussion shouldn't be personal. It's different if we're having a discussion. Now, if you make it personal, then it's personal at this point. There's just ain't no way around that.
And then one thing I did share before too is that if someone is saying something towards me and it is a personal, they're not saying it to me, they're saying it to themselves because I'm letting you know you're dead wrong about what you're saying, but you're saying it to yourself. You can't. I've said it before. It may sound silly. I'm rubber, you're glue. Whatever you say, bounce off me, stick onto you. It can't stick. It has no life. And it may sound childish, but you know what? The foolish confounds the wise. So foolish things confound the wise. So one thing I'm just sharing is that, Rebecca, you know, that's cool that you know, it touches you in that way, but I'm gonna encourage you, sis. Don't let that bother you like that. He what he says is who he is. That's who he is. And you know what, Herb? And I come on to have fun to mess with Herb. I came on to have fun to mess with David. How you gonna tell me I can't coach a one? Oh, I'm ready for that heat at all times.
Bet that.
So that's to make it very clear.
He was like, you know, why does he have to come to Texas? You know, fool, shut up. I was talking to him. And you want to carry on a whole 10-minute conversation about how come I can't come to New York? He don't even live in New York. So what the fuck is you talking about? Just shut up and stay in your lane. And the sad thing is I've known her for over 20 years. Well over 20 years, and I'm just so done. With that.
Herb is the new D-Jax. Herb is the new what's his name?
Eric Jackson.
Don't say Kevin Samuels.
Kevin Samuels.
Not at all. He wanna be, but he ain't ever gonna be on that level. Not with the way he go about shit.
You gotta have a woman in your life to be
so
women actually have to want to fucking talk to you. With the way he talks, nobody's gonna want to talk to him. But anyway,
my grandma always
said, it's not what they call you, it's what you respond to that matters. Herb say a lot of dumb shit. Herb take a lot of jabs at me. Most of the time, I ignore his ass because at the end of the day, you don't know me in real life. I don't know you in real life. Nothing you say actually matters to me because I don't fucking know you and you don't know me. And it's like he's one of those men that just like to flap his gums.
Let me say this, lady.
Like to hear himself speak. It is what it is.
Let me say
this. And that whole panel of them dudes that were sitting there, they just like to hear themselves speak. And it's funny because what was it, Monday? Herb was like, oh, none of them had kids. We were all, no, that's not true. One guy was married with kids. And another guy had stepkids. He was married with stepchildren. I'm like, a couple of them had children. But the one thing I was curious about is how many of them made women single mothers. None of them wanted to answer that fucking question.
But what I was curious about on that one was for the guy that married the woman that already had children. If this is your view of
actually, it was two of them that were married with stepchildren.
So here's my question to that. You know, what made them so much more different than the women that you classify all as one? You know what I'm saying? I wanted to really hear somebody say that this is what.
Let me ask y'all this.
This is what made me forget everything.
Let me ask y'all this. Were y'all impacted by some of the things that were said?
Hell no.
I was not in
that house with a man who thinks like that.
Did it provoke emotions out of y'all?
I wasn't surprised at all. I grew up in a house with a man who thinks like that. That was my day-to-day struggle, having to listen to him talk about us like we wasn't shit. And that's something that I had to live through. So nothing that they said surprised me at all because I've had to listen to that shit for decades.
But you know, for most women, this is what it is. For most of us, we've been hearing it, period. All of us, our lives. If you're dark skinned or if you ain't light skinned or you're dark skinned, you know, you're not skinny, your hair is nappy. You know, your hair nappy, you got right, you know, your natural hair to leave, you know, it's all always
because he ain't undefeated.
So man have heard that same thing.
Here was to answer your question, Dave. My thought about that was this is an older generation teaching a younger generation, in my opinion, a bunch of foolishness.
Exactly.
And that was all it is. Issue that I had because I'm not surprised to hear a whole lot of things come out of people's mouths. I just don't want young folks thinking that this is the norm.
And you know, and then there was
one child to disrespect his mother. Like you're going too goddamn far.
They subscribe to that way of life. And if you do, good for you. I ain't even hating on that. If that's how you want your house to run, if you can find a woman that really wants to live that type of life with you, who am I to be mad about it? The problem I had with that was that they lumped us all together and literally said that we were worth less.
Right. No, let me share this with you.
We had less value.
Let me share with you what I did. When Herb had posted the men that were coming on the show, I researched them. I did. I looked them up. I wanted to see what they look like. All of them didn't even look like they was worth it. I wouldn't even give any of them a time of day the way that they look. Period. They weren't even attractive men, for one. Secondly, when I went to
that was the biggest disappointment. I was like, damn, you couldn't find really who was like a little bit attractive.
Like, dude, okay, like you wasn't even somebody that anybody really want to talk to. Okay. Secondly, when I went on the one guy's show, page that would not show his face, but he was talking a lot of junk in the back. I mean, he was talking a lot. He wouldn't show his face. That's how his page is as well. So he's hiding behind this image because on his page, he didn't have a lot of pictures. He didn't have any pictures at all. But the one thing that I noticed he said, for single mothers, let them die alone. When you say things like that, let them die alone, then that to me, you are an angry Black man that is bitter, angry for whatever reasons. You're hurt, and now you want to take it out on every single woman that because of this, whoever hurt you. So for any man to say something like that, I wouldn't dare even allow them to speak anything into my life. They're ridiculous, because that is sad that he thinks that for someone to say something like that. That's sad.
You know, whatever measure you met shall be meted unto you again. So if that's your thought, guess what's coming back to you because you put it out there. So that'll be your life. You know what I'm saying? That'll be your life. So, but to say that, and then that in and of itself is that's really black-hearted.
Yeah, thank you.
That was on his page.
Also foolish. Also foolish.
And that's what I be talking about. Just that mean-spirited shit that they be saying. And just to listen to the conversation is not necessary at all. I don't need to hear anything negative to elicit a good, vibrant conversation. And some shit is just not for the rest of us to hear. Nobody needs to hear that you feel that way.
And
all I kept thinking is they remind me of Trump supporters. That's all I kept thinking is y'all remind me of Trump supporters because you are so serious.
Oh, you said y'all.
I'm not talking about you. I'm just saying.
It don't apply to you.
Trump y'all, how they because they are so steadfast in that belief that they won't entertain anything else.
Somebody in the comments said we should read the Willie Lynch letters, and I'm just going to rebuttal and say I have read them.
Right.
I have too.
Let me share this, but let me also share this statement where I believe a lot of the men may have were Muslim, and I'm nothing against that. But this is something that Malcolm X said, and I wanted to share. And he said the most disrespected person in America is the Black woman. The most unprotected person in America is the Black woman. The most neglected person in America is the Black woman. How many years ago was that said? 1962, he said that. That's how long Black women have been treated, neglected, disrespected, not unprotected. You know what I mean? And it's still going on. And then men wonder why we're up here fighting for equality still in the Me Too movement, because we're still being disrespected, unprotected, and just kicked to the curb or ignored. So one thing I'm not going to say that he shouldn't keep having these conversations. He should. My hope is that even as much as any man that listens to this panel want to act like they don't comprehend what's being said, I believe it's going to chisel and it's going to get into their hearts, plant the seed, somebody else water it, but the Father will give the increase. And that's what I believe about it.
Oh, no, we're going to keep having these conversations because I've been steadfast on this. I've been talking about this in several platforms for about 8 years, so still going to break through. Of course, I ain't hit it big like Kevin Samuels and all that. That's just because where I'm from and the people that I know. But, hey, I'm still in it for the long haul. And the one thing I don't do is claim myself as no relationship guru, no relationship coach, and all that. I just think it's important that we had these conversations, good, bad, or indifferent, how they turn out. I'm not gonna lose no sleep at the end of the night. How it went, whatever. Those is we're adults. We have to deal with stuff. We have to persevere, and everything somebody say we're not going to agree with. We're not going to agree with, and you move forward, and that's my mindset. So
it doesn't have to be that we all have to agree. It's the fact that some things, how the delivery is toxic.
I don't control how people with each individual. So you can't lump one person in how they deliver something and make it seem like, oh, it's two guys on here. So y'all both, me and her, both have two different deliverance. We agree on a lot of different things. He may deliver it one way, I may deliver it another way. But you're not going to lump in, because some people may say, man, Herb, Dave's soft on here. Whatever, he should have your back, and hopefully he'll respond. That's his approach. And the same thing, Herb is kind of locked in on his views. That's his views. He's entitled to that. He's entitled. It's what you do with those views that matter. And
Exactly.
And that's how it is.
My job is to tell you what you do with that information. It's totally up to you.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is just because you're a card-carrying member of the Klan doesn't mean that you get to just run your ass all over town talking about I hate niggers. Sometimes some of this shit is just not worth the ear. And again, a good conversation is a good conversation, but week after week, when you have the same person spewing the same negativity, and your response from the panel is the same every single time, how is that benefiting anybody?
Because you never know. You never know.
I want to do a show, Dave. I'm throwing this out there because we always have those shows that talk.
Somebody got a bunch of things going on in the background.
I don't know who's doing that. So
I
was saying that we always have on this show. I mean, well, not always. It is.
Anita, try muting yours. Mute themselves. Mute yours, Anita.
Do what?
Mute your computer.
You can't have a couple things going on. It's an echo.
Oh, I thought that was me. I'm like, is that me? So we have spoke on this topic before on this show about women with daddy issues. I would love to do a show about men with mommy issues, because that's something that needs to be addressed. I'm throwing it out there, Dave. Do I need to inbox you and tell you that?
You ain't got to inbox me, because I'm a day. Here we go. I write stuff down. This is all from cocktail conversations, all that stuff, all day long. This is not a game to me. I'm nothing to be played with.
We need to have a conversation about when are black men gonna forgive black women and when are black women gonna forgive black men. And let's move forward and do something positive together. How about that? Because I'm really about tired of this shit. I really am.
Okay,
I'm
now
getting old.
Okay,
I want.
I am departing again.
Hold up. What I want to understand is, I was on my talking point. We were supposed to close it out, and here it is, about an hour some later, and I got 60 kids tomorrow. 60 kids.
You be all right.
I just gotta rub it in, David. I don't have no kids tomorrow, David. I don't have no kids tomorrow.
Man, but no, I just overemphasize that they have been no bother to me, because schools are not schools the way it used to be anymore. It's like they're in some damn prison reform now.
Have
with all
got
this distance.
Yet? Has anybody got
I'm not getting them. I'm not taking it.
Nobody.
I'm not divulging information on that.
I'm not doing it. That's
went
my
and got their
information.
first shot today, so everybody in my house is officially covered. So
I'm not getting a shot. I refuse. So that's me. I will not get a shot.
Get your shots, y'all. Get your shots. For this shit mutates.
I'll wait and see how this goes a few years down the line. If nobody grows an extra head, an extra head, an extra face.
Okay, I got the Moderna one.
Mutated, then I'll consider it. Right
if
now,
I come back out here and I got a growth coming out of here, somebody could get me.
I'm gonna tell you the one thing I noticed from someone that I know that got the shot. It just seemed like their demeanor changed a bit. Like they became a little bit more like just mean and aggressive.
Well, I got Moderna. My kids got Pfizer. So. I was mean and aggressive beforehand, so it wasn't bad.
Oh, I'm now about to get that connection. Is that why I can't call her girly girl no more?
It's just because
I'm getting my first shot tomorrow.
Good for you. I can't always handle this panel like Sharia and Lakia do. I can't do it. I just can't. I just cannot. You can't keep saying that stuff over and over and over again. And he keeps saying that I'm trying to change him, but I'm not. I'm just here to let you know you can't keep saying that over and through here.
The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over. So that gives you your answer right there. Treat it as such and keep it kicking.
Yeah.
Can I say something real quick?
I am cutting it off again. I'm trying to stay away from.
Look here, go to bed.
I'm going. It's past my bedtime.
I know that's right.
I'm rubbing my eyes like a little kid, like it's past my bedtime.
Dang, I got nothing to do.
Right.
I'm on call, so I'm just here.
So this is how it's about to end. I done gave my talking points.
Bye,
Anita,
y'all.
what's your closing comment? I know you just came on, so
I just couldn't deal with her bullshit tonight. So anyway, I just want to say, dang, can y'all hear me?
Yes.
I'm plugging things
Don't
now.
start touching shit, and then you have echoes and all that stuff. Leave it as is.
I just want to say that whether we are Black women, white women, whatever color women we are, if you're a single mother and you're doing good and doing what you need to do for your children, then nobody else can sway that. And I'm proud of all the single mothers that are doing what they got to do, and I grew up with a single mom most of the time, and this is why it touches me, because my mom did whatever she had to do to make it to where we were.
I feel that.
And I could I could deal with those sentiments. And I done said before, my mother had 4 children, and she did what she had to do. She had support from my grandparents and my aunts. So I already know the struggle. I lived the struggle.
Yeah.
So I understand it. I never dismissed the struggle. So that's what it is.
And the same goes out to all them single dads out there raising kids by themselves too. Good for y'all. Right. I don't discriminate.
I just wanted to say it's not just within the Black community. It's with across the board with single mothers, how they get stereotyped as less than, and that's not right.
It's a lot of research. It's a lot of stuff out there about this stuff. We just haven't took it to that level of going into it, but it is.
I'm just shocked.
If you Google that in there, it's all types of articles comes up.
I believe you.
Yeah. So it's
out there. I look at all the single moms on the panel, and we're all 10s, and so how I'm just not understanding how no man out there or a cluster of men can't see any value in a woman who has children. It just,
and holding it down for her own.
But we'll be quick to say you won't date a man because, you know, he only made $40,000 a year. You salty about that, but you won't marry me because I have a child already. You and your $30,000 a year can go find yourself somebody that makes $15,000 so that you can feel good about yourself.
And that just shows you how we got a lot of work. We got a lot of work to do.
Yeah,
and
black men and black women need to just get over all of ourselves and
like Anita said, it's not just it's as a whole. We got a lot of work to do. Period. And I'm not one to portray like, oh, I got the solution. I don't have a solution, but I think it all starts with conversations, courageous conversations, and talk about it. But where it goes from here, that's on us. But if we keep building, and more people keep joining, that's how it all happens. But we know how that goes. But I'm not going to talk you out of that. We about to get the hell out of here because I've been struggling this week. I don't give a damn what time I get up. I could be up at 6 o'clock and got to be work at 8. I still just be rolling up in there. And I'm like, damn, I'm so used to this virtual shit that it don't even make no sense. Like, I be sitting there like, I got somewhere to be, but I still don't move. So this ain't working, whatever. So I'm trying. I'm trying.
Hey, Dave, my cousin told me she be late more to working from home than she ever was going in.
Exactly. You're like, okay, what the hell? You miss it. You late for meetings, whatever. And like, and you at home.
Ain't got no sense of time no more. That you said that.
Yeah, so it's a struggle and it's weighing on everybody. And I think people overall affecting this whole thing. Some people it didn't hit because y'all, kept going to work and kept doing, but other people, it's been like it's been tough, but whatever.
You
we still got
keep up the good work. I know it's hard. Y'all keep up the good work because
still got to keep grinding.
Y'all are much appreciated.
And I tell y'all, I appreciate each and every one of y'all for what y'all bring. Y'all unique and dynamic voice. And even though y'all might not agree with some of the things we said, I'm never going to take it personal. You'll see me grinning and smiling. But as I walk away and we close out this camera, I'll reflect on it. I have people I reflect with on the show. And I'm like, man, they bring something valuable. Each and every one of y'all on the things that y'all say. So I ain't never mad at y'all. I can elevate my voice and do all that stuff. Still ain't mad at y'all. I got much love for y'all. That's how it is. Y'all can be mad at me, but I ain't mad at y'all. Understand that.
I haven't been mad at a person on this show since I started coming on there. Not once.
Y'all do so well. I'm so proud of y'all, but I can't do it. I just can't.
I don't get mad. I just laugh and be like, you don't want to see me in my feelings.
Yeah.
I want to see me in my feelings. Y'all don't want to see me be petty. I'm always
Rebecca, I do want to get
under your skin before you get under mine.
You can't tell. Rebecca, I do want to give you a shout out though, because you come consistently and you represent and you like it is not a black or white thing, which is not. I'm just saying I have to give you a shout out.
Just not. That's half of the damn problem with society. You always want to stick somebody in a mold instead of just letting them do them and be the best person they can be and adding them to your life so that the both of y'all can be the best you can be instead of, you're a woman, I'm a man, so I gotta do this. Fuck you and all of that. Ain't nobody, I don't have time for it. I'm in here fixing my washing machine while I'm talking to y'all. And ain't nobody here to do it for me, so I gotta do it. I have no choice but to do it. And I do a lot of stuff that I might reserve for a man because I don't want to get dirty. But that's not my life. My life is moving forward. So
and just for the record, just because there's a man present, don't mean you still won't be the person
I still can't fix my own.
That is true, because I can't fix shit. I salute. I talk shit all day long. I can't fix shit. So I can admit that. I ain't gonna never say, oh, what you need me to do, whatever. They try to get in good. I can't fix a flat tire on a BMX bike. So I'm letting you know that.
Well, I got on YouTube and I learned how. So, you know.
That's all right, though. I appreciate her. Listen, at least Dave told the truth.
Yeah.
At least he told the truth.
And you're not less than a man because you don't know how to fix my washing machine. Because I can't cook every single meal out there.
If I fix your washing machine, Rebecca, that should probably turn into a stove or whatever.
We don't want that. We don't want that.
Probably be all types of fires coming out of there. So we ain't gonna do that.
Yeah, you stay away from that thing.
If I'm good at it, I'm gonna do it. If neither one of us knows how to do it, we're just gonna learn together.
And that's why interdependence is important. We out of here, people. I'm about to start clicking y'all away.
Bye.
I'm gonna get with y'all. Y'all be good. Love y'all all. Y'all be safe.
Y'all. Bye.
I love y'all.
Bye.
Bye, y'all.
Good night.
Now, how do you get out this movie?